Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show takes your format or formula of the Defunct HCW podcast and the power of, you guessed it, 2. I am your host, as always, Dan, DP, or do all say nowadays, DpuizY, yeah. And I am joined by absolutely no one. I am alone for the episode. It's going to be a bit different this week. I already put it out on social media. This is not going out on Sunday. This is going out on Monday or Tuesday because we're going to mix together 2 recordings of this one for the TV show and then also the Deadline review, which I plan to watch live when it happens. So yeah, those will be mixed together and then released as one whole episode. Without any further ado, we don't want this to be too long. So with that in mind, let's get into NXT for the 3rd of December. So we go forward into the first match of the night because there's nothing in between. It's time for the Iron Survivor Last Chance qualifier for the women's side of things, as Jada Parker takes on Ren Sinclair, takes on Connie Jordan, and takes on Cora Jade. And Ren wins, surprisingly, after getting knocked out by Lola and falling, literally, into the pin on Cora. I rate this 3.5 stars. I always enjoy a little bit of chaos, even if it, makes taking notes on the match harder, because it's done in a way, in a good way. It was fast-paced, never really slowed down. There was tons of moments where anyone could have won the match, and there was a single fall to a finish, so it literally could happen at any time, at any place. The ending was a little silly, but I can forgive that. I'm okay with it, because it sets up Ren perfectly into the role of, it's a fluke victory, or, the underdog victory. And now she'll go into the Iron Survivor with that fluke victory, and be the immediate underdog going into it. Do I think she's going to win Iron Survivor? We'll get into that towards the end, but no. But yeah, it's a nice addition of a bit of storyline weaved into it, which is why I'm ultimately okay with it. After this, we go into a backstage interview with Eddy Thorpe. Eddy Thorpe interviewed. He's asked about last week when he laid hands on NXT GM Ava, and that led to her getting knocked down. And then, of course, the casual, manhandling of Eddy Thorpe from Shawn Michaels. Eddy says that he's allowed to compete tonight, though, because Shawn and Ava watched the tape back and realised that Eddy wasn't at fault for that, which is absolutely fair. I hope Eddy got an apology from Shawn, because, being like, that's a bit much. Because, Shawn handled Eddy like Eddy owed him money. Just saying. Anyway, Eddy says that he'll win it. He'll win the Iron Survivor. Last chance, and then the Iron Survivor for his people. And then speaking of people, in comes Lexis King, who basically just tells him to watch his temper. And there's no use in being a loose cannon. Points for any you eagle-eyed viewers out there who realise that is a Brian Pillman reference. And he tries to offer a hand of condolence to sort of be like, hey man, it's okay. However, Eddy wants none of that and pushes it away and then walks off. And then that causes Lexis to retort to the interviewer saying that tonight's not about Eddy anyway, it's about the King. So of course he means Elvis Presley, right? Who else do you mean? After this, we get a promo from Jada Parker. So Jada literally comes back out because of the brawl with Lola, and then she comes back out and she's shouting. She's like, take the ropes down, take the ring ropes down, take them down right now. She wants Lola, take the ring ropes down. So we come back from the break after that, and the ropes have been taken down. Jada's then cutting a promo where she's screaming. She wants Lola. Lola wants an underground match. Jada's going to give it to her. Jada also wants an underground match. So we are going to get an underground match, people, between Jada Parker and Lola Vice. But no, we're not. Because first out comes Ava to confront Jada. Ava denies her this match because Jada wants it right now, which is fair enough. However, she makes it official for Deadline. Jada Parker, Lola Vice, NXT Underground. She continues to talk, but is then cut off by Lola Vice. Lola calls her stupid. Jada, that is. It's her world. Jada has no idea what she's getting into, and then she calls her a sucia, which, as you can see on the screenshot here that I took, it loosely translates to dirty. But I don't think that's what Lola was saying here. Anyone out there who speaks Spanish natively, let me know what she said. After this, we go backstage again, and we are with Dion Lennox, Brindley Reese, and Carmen Petrovic. Carmen receives flowers from Ashante Adonis, who promises that the text of Nikita was before her, and Carmen's happy with it. Cool. Backstage now with Fraxium. The fracture of Fraxium is building once again as Axiom is preparing for the tag battle royal to watch it and see who's going to win. Whereas Nathan's not really paying attention to it when Axiom calls him out on it. Nathan claims that he's locked in on the battle royal. There's more tension built here as Nathan keeps referring to himself in that he's got double duty or he's got 2 matches, whereas Axiom doesn't have that. Yet, anyway. So it seems there might be a fracture in Fraxium that's not healing just yet. Remain hopeful, everyone. Hopeful. After this, we go into the second match of the night, which is the number 1 contenders battle royal for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We have the following teams involved: the family, that is Stax, Che Lorenzo, and Luca Cristofino, Juicy Lucy, so to speak. We have OTM, Out the Mud, Bronco Nima, and Lucian Price. We have Tussin DuPont and tyranny. I don't think they've got a team name just yet. We've got the NQCC, Tavian Heights, and Miles Bourne. We've got Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang. We've got a team of Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Honk, honk. And we've got one extra team that was seemingly added last minute. Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. So this is Battle Royal rules, so individual elimination applies, which means that if you are eliminated, your team is not eliminated, it means just you are eliminated. So, just for example, Josh Briggs gets eliminated first, Yoshiki is still in the match. So yeah, the main story beats of this match are the inadvertent elimination of Hank and Tank, by tyranny. That Gallus are the only full team left, that 5 people left in the match. And at the final 3 are Lucian Price from OTM, Technology from Hank and Tank, and Miles Bourne from the NQCC. However, the NQCC actually do win this after a set of eliminations from Miles Bourne, which eliminates both Hank and Lucian. I rated this 3 stars. It was good, but it was just a standard battle royal. These are difficult to put ratings on because everything's everywhere and everything sort of coasts in that people get from spot to spot, or elimination to elimination, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I've got no issues whatsoever. It just makes it more difficult for me as the rater extraordinary. That's not me. That's Ray Russell. As me as the rater, to put a rating on it. But yeah, the action started to pick up when we got to the final 5, which was, of course, Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, Lucian Price, Miles Bourne, and Tank Ledger. Gallus seemed to have it all under control, but a sudden elimination of Wolfgang left Mark Coffey in a precarious spot, which then got him eliminated. And then you're down to the final 3, as I always say, with Miles Bourne, Tank Ledger, and Lucian Price. It just fell into a lot of the same Battle Royal tropes. Saying all that though, I had a fun time watching it. The Battle Royal, Royal Rumble, timed entrant, delayed Rumble, whatever you want to call it, is one of my favourite types of match. And I love it when they do it, because it's always fun. I just wish OTM or Hackattack had won it. NQCC feels a little underwhelming. And well, to put it bluntly, really, there's no heat behind this. There's no real direction. There's no build to this. I don't see AQCC as a team who can beat Fraxium. Nor do I see them being a team that fans get behind to beat Fraxium. So yeah, spoilers, my prediction for that match is going to be, Fraxium retain. Up next, we have Eric Bischoff doing a trick with Trick and... Wait, who was it? Who was it? Can someone tell me?
How about the appearance, the out of nowhere of... Tell us who it was.
No, between Trick and Ridge Holland. Fucking ridiculous. That was so stupid. Anyway. So, he's here and he reminisces, Bischoff, on his WWE career. And how he started the revolution in wrestling. And how NXT is part of the new revolution. I don't know what the revolution is, or what it's against, or what it's for. NXT is NXT, and it's basically no different from Raw and SmackDown, in that it's a wrestling show. I will say it's better than Raw and SmackDown, but ultimately it's not different. You know what I mean? In the same way that AEW said that they were different back in the day, they kind of were, but ultimately not really. It's just, I don't know. That's a whole video, to be honest. The whole debate of what is the revolution in wrestling. However, out comes Ridge Holland and out comes Trick Williams. Ridge speaks some truth. Legitimately. He calls Trick a stand-up comedian with abs, and he's an insult to the vision of what NXT should be. Now, of course, I'm probably one of the very few podcasters or NXT fans or whatever who firmly does not like Trick Williams. I'll get into it in a minute, but I don't know what it is. I can't get behind him. So Ridge saying this means I'm actually siding with Ridge on this argument, but it is. Ridge says he's in control of the match, in control of the situation. When he wins, he won't listen to anyone, or to our wrestlers, or to management, etc. Trick then comes back by calling Ridge, bland, vanilla, and boring. Ridge then compares NFL to rugby, calling rugby a men's game. Trick then attacks Ridge for calling him soft, which leads to a brawl. Trick then hits the Redeemer on Trick on the announce table, and it seems that Trick's in a lot of pain. Trick is then stretched out, and questions are asked of what it means for Deadline. So now it's time for a little bit of hard-hitting home truths. Sorry, Nathan Fraser. I got to borrow it for a little bit. You're not using it anyway. Here we go. This is a bit of a rant, this one. So this entire thing that's going on right now with Trick and Ridge, is this really the best you've got for Trick? I've got nothing against Ridge here. He did what he could, But Trick literally used the best three words that he could use to describe himself. Bland, vanilla, and boring. The man can't cut a promo to save his life. Everything he says and does reads like he's reading the script. There's no real emotion. He's just a shouty man, It's literally the same thing every time. And another thing as well, he's a fighting champion, right? He's the champion's champion, a champ's champ. He's going to do what's right and do what he can to make it right. Then fucking fight, man. Every week you're coming out and cutting promos or being part of segments or doing an interview or something. There are so many people on the roster who could benefit from fighting the champion in a non-title one-on-one match. So many. And you're not doing it. Not you, Sean's not booking it, but you know what I mean? It's mind-boggling to me. I'm not saying do open challenger for the title. I'm not saying that at all. It can work in some cases, but generally, non-title matches against the champion elevate the people fighting the champion. It's how it works. You build profiles off that. And then through those matches, you can build new challengers because they beat the champion non-title, or they get a level of respect. I don't know. On that side of things, I don't know. But no, so we're just continuing the agenda of Trick Williams at NXT, and consistently praising him when he's just not it. He does not deserve the praise. Like, the man has a glow up, and that's about it. Like, a bit of aura, but then that aura is manufactured. It's not real aura. Like, the aura is made in a certain way. It's artificial. And while I'm glad he stepped out of Carmelo's shadow, I kind of wish he just stayed there. Because the solo run he's doing right now is doing nothing for him. And with Bischoff praising him this week as well, it's what, the 6th or 7th person now to do it who's not a regular full-time wrestler. Like, who we had before? Like, we've literally had we had, I don't know, we had Punk, we had Cena, we had Bubba Ray recently as well. We had Ilya Dragunov back to when he was champion. He was praising Trick before any of this stuff even happened. Like, it's all been made in a certain way to trick you into perceiving him in a certain way. He's built as a star because they want him to be a star. It's the Roman Reigns treatment. They force him down your throat so much that you recognize it as a star. It's constant exposure. So you know he's there all the time. So it's like, oh, actually, he's gonna win the match. Oh, actually, he's gonna become the champion, because it's been made to think that way. In the same way, like, what's another example of the anti of that? Someone like a Shantae Adonis, okay? First for example, I'm not comparing Trickman to the Shantae Adonis, but a Shantae's a bum. There's nothing to him right now. He's a good wrestler, but other than that, the character he's doing right now, he's a sap. Like, there's nothing going for him, and you won't perceive him in a certain way, because that's the way he's being booked. He's like a romantic fool or something. Like, it's a jokey character, and you perceive him in a certain way that you won't believe that he could go for a title should it happen. Trick has been given no dud storylines, in that while they've not been the best storylines, they've been the most high profile ones. And because of that, he's been given that main event status that he doesn't deserve, because the matches that he has are carried 99% of the time by the opponents. Like, the guy can't have a good match with Carmelo Hayes. That should open your eyes. Carmelo is one of the best young athletes in the wrestling industry right now. And he has bangers on SmackDown, like, every week, more or less. And you can't do it with Trick Williams. Despite being together for years on NXT, you couldn't put together a good match that came across well on TV. Open your eyes. You're being tricked. Legitimately, it's in the name. Trick Williams. He's not good. He's not it. He is literally shit. He is the worst NXT champion we've had in a while. I'm trying to think back to a time when there was a worse champion, and honestly, I don't know when that was. Maybe during the Black and Gold era. I don't know. Like, this is legitimately one of the worst champions that we've had recently, and honestly, it might be the worst champion, because everything is forced. Again, I come back to the point. It's forced. It's manufactured. Nothing is genuine. I'll let that sink in. That's the rant. That's the rant. Match 3 is Nikita Lyons and Nikita Petrovic. Karma wins with a nasty looking high kick to Nikita's face. I rate this 1.25 stars. I really have no real idea what they could have done with the time that they were given. It was like 3 minutes. It did its job, and it progressed the storyline between Carmen and Ashante, I guess. So it's very much a match dominated by Nikita until the last 30 seconds, where Carmen got the upper hand because of Ashante interference. Nikita misses a Vader splash, and Carmen hits her high kick, and Nikita is out for the count. I hope that the story that they're doing now with Carmen and Ashante can actually go ahead, because it's really starting to drag now. But I don't think that's going to be the case with what happened at the end. So Ashante came in to help Carmen and pushes her out the way to avoid Nikita hitting her. As a result of that, Nikita then gets high kicked in the face and then pinned. But Carmen didn't see it that way. She sees it as Ashante pushed her away. I don't know. I assume she'll go back and see the footage and be like, oh, actually, no, you did the right thing, Ashante. She'll see it on replay anyway. Or Dion and Brindley will bring it up to her and be like, oh, hey, actually, he did help you. And then she'll forgive Ashante, and then there'll be another woman involved who Ashante has texted or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're backstage now with Shawn Spears and his crew. That is Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance. He praises Nico Vance for his efforts last week with Tony D'Angelo. Shawn's claiming that he's playing the long game, and he believes that with the talent they have, they can reach even higher than where they are currently. But they need one more thing. And then that tunes into the same scene. We see Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. It seems that Shawn Spears is interested in recruiting Gigi Dolan, potentially for the group. She shows it off, and then they walk out and they move on. We go backstage now with the NQCC. They're celebrating, and Charlie's proud of the three of them. Taven and Mars are going to win the tag belts. Red's going to win the Iron Survivor. Red's playing it off, of course, but Charlie is insistent on her luck. And then Ren says that apparently Ren wanted to go exactly that way. Sure. She calls the group the Eren QCC. I don't know what I think she meant the Ren QCC, but whatever, I don't know. However, Charlie does not approve of this, and they get into a mini argument as to what the group's called, and that's how the segment ends. We go on to the penultimate match of the night, the fourth match of the night. Izzy Dame against Gigi Dolan, and Gigi wins with the Gigi driver. I hate the name Gigi. It's hard to like I've got a stammer, so for me it's harder to say things like Gigi because it's like a repetitive so what's the word, like repetitive letters, like a set of letters. Anyway, I rated 1.5 stars. I guess this was better than the previous match, but even still, Gigi has a bit of ring rust on display, and it will take a little bit, I imagine, for her to get back into the swing of things. The most obvious route to me for Gigi is to go after the North American title and to go after, Fatal Influence, because that's the history. Plus, in that time she'd be locking up, with JC, with Jasmine, that she would eventually move on to Fallon, and Fallon would, presumably beat her, because I don't think Gigi's been in the title yet. I think that's reserved for someone else. I won't get into it right now. But yeah, hopefully we'll see more of this going forward. Izzy was standard here too. Like, Izzy's not been doing much anyway. She's been, I think she's been doing Level Up recently, and it's just Izzy's alright. Like, it's just you don't see much of her, and she's not ever placed in a big spot. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more out of her while going forward. And not to mention the looming aspect of Shawn Spears. Does he really want Gigi Dolan, or is he after someone else entirely? Is there a whole ploy here to get Tatum, or is he really? But yeah, after this we go backstage again with Javon Evans, who is talking about his prediction for the Last Chance Iron Survivor match in the main event, and he's obviously going to support his uncle Cedric Alexander. However, in comes X-Pac to literally blow smoke up Javon. And honestly, I didn't pay attention to this. I'm over the old names coming into wrestling now to pick up the young guys. I don't mind an nostalgia pop like Bubba Ray literally being in the ring for that tag match. I don't mind that. But this, it's backstage. It's literally like a minute, if that, of interaction. I lose interest in this sort of thing. I was never a big X-Pac guy anyway back in the day. So it's like, to me, no real effect whatsoever on the show. He was there, and he talked for a bit to Javon. Literally blew smoke up his ass. Like it. Can we stop, please? Like, we don't need old timers coming out every few weeks to be like, "Oh, hey, Javon, I knew you watched me growing up, and now I'm here to support you." What do you think about that, Javon? Or the alternative is, "Oh, hey, Trick, you're like the best thing going right now in NXT, yeah." No. Like, just stop. Let them prove themselves in the ring. On the mic. Let them build their characters. Don't get these legends legends to come in and be like, "Oh, you're the best, you're fantastic, you're the revolution, you are the epitome of what this is, you're the antithesis." Like, you're insulting the audience by doing that as well. Like, this is all one big ploy to push, again, the agenda. And I don't know, Javon's not ready for it. He's good, but he's not ready for it. And Trick is absolutely not ready for it. He has nothing. I'm not going to it again. But yeah, please, part-timers, old-timers, but part-timers, like, can we just stop? Like, NXT's got a massive roster. Like, there are so many men and women on both sides of the coin. And it's just, use them to build people. Like, if you've got to do a 3-4 minute match, whatever, or 1 minute match, do what you got to do. Like, there are ways to do this without having to rely on the part-timer Legends contracted people. Okay, and moving on to the main event, which was the 5th match of the night. It was the other Iron Survivor Last Chance qualifier for the men's side of things. We had Alexis King, Cedric Alexander, Eddy Thorpe, and Axiom. All 4 members of the actual Iron Survivor watching on in various ways. You had Ethan Page on commentary. You had Wesley on a little balcony podium thing. You had Javon literally in the audience watching. And you had Nathan on the ringside because he's with Axiom. So yeah, this match is won ultimately by, of course, Eddy Thorpe. Okay, cool. Eddy wins after stealing the pin from Axiom's golden ratio onto Lexus. I rated it 3 3/4 stars. It was another great last chance match. The women did it good earlier, so the men took note and performed. Another chaotic match here where it was not clear for a second who's going to win. But, let's be honest, we knew Cedric was going to win. Like, the other 3 maybe, but Cedric. And Eddy Thorpe winning in that fashion as well. It's good stuff to see. Eddy stealing the win from Axiom as well. Like, Axiom wanted this to counteract Nathan winning it and getting into it. And now only one of them have it. I'm pleased for Eddy as well. But I don't think he wins it. Honestly, I don't. It'd be cool, but again, I don't want him to win it. After this, though, we get a little fun segment as well, where Nathan is shouting at Eddy and the other Iron Survivors. However, what he doesn't know is behind him is the NQCC, Tavian and Miles, who appear behind him to be like, "Oh, hey, we're fighting you on Sunday or Saturday for the tag titles, and you better pay attention to us because we're going to take those titles." And Axiom is looking at them being like, "Oh, Nathan," whereas Nathan's like really shouting at the Iron Survivor guys, Action was looking back at the tag title scene. So again, a good little bit of imagery and a good little bit of foreshadowing for the eventual, clash and split. After this, we go backstage and we are with Stevie Turner and Robert Stone and Ava, who's on a tablet. Ava went to the hospital with Trick Williams earlier in the night, and I forgot to mention that because it's not a big detail, but she was there. They take a video call from Ava, who updates them on Trick's medical status. Trick has apparently insisted the match go ahead against Ridge Deadline, so there's your update. We're going to backstage with Stevie Turner and Robert Stone and Cora Jade, who's here. She complained about Kalani Jordan, and Stevie roughly tells her it was a 4-way, which means every person for themselves, and Cora goes off annoyed. In comes Eddy Thorpe, who comes to the office to gloat to Ava, but Ava's not there, obviously. Eddy's a little annoyed, but thinks past it. Says that Ava made the right choice by not suspending him, and he'll take his chance and become Iron Survivor, as no one deserves it more than Eddy. Come on, really? Someone then, or something, spooks Robert and then Stevie. Who or what could it be? So after this, we go back to the ring area. That was the main event, but there's still more to come. It's Roxanne Perez. She's back from her holiday, which means it must be time for the final go-home promo. She speaks on the Iron Survivor. She's interested to see who wins it. She says it's what got her on the map 2 years ago, because she won the first one for women. However, back when they were fighting for first place, nowadays, everyone's fighting for second place, because no one beats the Prodigy. She comments on Ren, and then on Soul, and then claims that neither of them will win because no one beats the Prodigy. She's going to talk about Stephanie, Julia, and Zarya, claiming that it doesn't matter where they come from, they all fall because nobody beats the Prodigy. 3 times, she says that. Cue everyone in the match to come out, minus Ren. So we have Soul, Zarya, Stephanie, and Julia. Roxanne rolls them up, and then we get a 4-way brawl, right? However, after all this, Roxanne rolls out the ring. Out comes Ren. Ren comes out and pulls Roxanne out the ring, and then just socks her right in the face. It's a very generic brawl. And then Ren takes the title from Roxanne and poses with it over her on the outside. One note as well I had for this was that I'm quite interested in that brawl, because Stephanie threw the first punch, and she threw it at Julia. They're partners. Kind of. So quite an interesting little note to see there, in my opinion, of who threw the first punch and towards who. However, that's not the end of the show, because we've got one more thing before the show ends. We go backstage and it's revealed that Eddy Thorpe has been attacked. He's been laid out. He's knocked out backstage unconscious. We have no idea who did it. But what does this mean for Deadline? I don't know. But yeah, that brought an end to NXT. I will quickly do some predictions for Deadline. And we will see how accurate I am. First things first, we have the men's Iron Survivor. Ethan Page, David Frazier, Wesley, Javon Evans, and Eddy Thorpe / a mystery person. Now, this is already a very tough one to predict. Personally, I don't want Ethan, anywhere near the title scene. He's been there already. He's done it. He's won it. We don't need him back. Even after this title, he came back and still was part of that scene. It was like, no, Ethan, go away. We do not want you here anymore. Nathan, I think, has other plans down the pipeline. Tag titles, a tag split with Axiom, I don't know yet. But I don't think it's going to be him. Javon Evans, again, he's young. He's not ready for this sort of thing. Yeah, that's not anything I have for Javon. I don't think with Javon either. My money leans towards Wesley or Eddy Thorpe or his replacement. because this links directly into what I think for the men's NXT Championship. I think Trick retains on that. Because if Ridge wins, your options are Wesley or Eddy Thorpe or Eddy Thorpe replacement. Which means you're going to have Ridge, a heel, against, Wesley, another heel, or against the replacement or Eddy Thorpe, who would be presumably a heel. So yeah, I think Trick retains, so it's going to be a bad guy that wins, the heel, right? Which means Ethan Page, please no. Wesley makes the most sense, speaking logistically. However, there's the fifth person element, and I believe it'll be Overeem. Which, it makes things a lot tougher, because there's no guarantee it is him, But it makes sense if it is him. So, if it is Femi, there's a chance he wins. However, I'm still going to go with Wesley for this, because I think Eddy Thorpe comes back to cost Oba. So, I'm saying Wesley wins, and at New Year's Eve, we're going to get Trick Williams and Wesley. And then Oba can fight Eddy Thorpe for a little bit as they build to Stand and Deliver with him and Trick. After this, we've got the Women's Iron Survivor. Now, this one's a lot more tougher to call. We have Sol Ruka, Zarya, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. Ren, no chance. She'll get a pin, maybe two. She won't win this whatsoever. Sol Ruka, again, she could potentially. It depends on what they're trying to build here. But I'm leaning more towards one of the three, newer signees, in that Zarya, Vaquer, and Julia all have higher statures here. And the way I'm leaning towards it is not Zarya. I think Zarya has other plans for the Women's North American title. I think that's the plan going forward, her and Fallon. And then Zarya wins the title from Fallon. Vaquer and Julia are the two that I am stuck between for predictions wise on this. They're both the high profile signings. One ditched AEW to come to WWE. And the other one sold out Japan pretty much. So I don't know. I think Julia's had the better booking, personally, the stronger booking as well. And Vaquer, I think, has had a bit of a weaker time with it all. However, with that in mind, I firmly think we're going to get the first ever Iron Survivor draw or tie between Vaquer and Julia at 2 points each, probably, or 3 maybe, I don't know. Vaquer and Julia are going to be the ones that tie here, and then that will lead into either an overtime, or it will lead into dual winners, and they do a triple threat match on New Year's Eve. But yeah, if I pick one person, Julia. However, I do think it'll be a tie between Julia and Vaquer. So that's my official prediction on that. The tag team titles: Fraxium champions defending against NQCC, No Quarter Catch Crew, Tavian Heights and Miles Bourne. Fraxium. I said this already. Fraxium. The NQCC have no heat, no build, no credibility in this sense to win this match. Fraxium, assuming it's going to be after the men's Iron Survivor as well. It might not be, I don't know. But assuming it's there, Nathan's going to have to sell that. Or Nathan sells the effects of the tag match in the Iron Survivor. So, I even with the fatigue, so to speak, for Nathan, I think Fraction win here, and I think they still retain. Sorry, NQCC fans. And finally, with NXT Underground, Jada Parker and Lola Vice. This is Lola's playground. There's no real way she loses here, and also the history of these two as well indicates that Lola should and probably would win here. That's what I have really about this. They're going to do this match here. This is the second of the three. Lola wins this one. It's 1-1 apiece, and then we're going to do a third one at another show. I don't know which one, but another show. And that's about it. So I've got Wesley, I've got Junior, I've got Fraction, Trick, and Lola. And that brings an end to this side of the podcast. And I will see you in the future when I do the Deadline review. And we have fast forwarded into the future, and we are now talking NXT Deadline for the PLE, of course, for the 7th of December. And I am not alone this time. I am joined by the regulars. I am joined by, firstly, Mr. Impact Craig. Craig, how are you doing?
You know me, it's that M-I-C, Craig, aka Mr. Impact. All good. As we record, literally watched Deadline less than 24 hours ago. But here I am. It was a show. I think it all adds out, excuse me. It was a show then.
Fair enough. And it's nice to see that you brought your Ridge Holland support with you as well, with your flat cap. And we move on to the other half of the regulars who are here today. It is, of course, the wonderful Nikki and the wonderful Mike. It is penciled in. How are you guys doing?
We're all good. All good.
Yes.
How recently did you guys watch Deadline?
Literally about 24 hours ago. Mm-hmm. We started watching it about 6 o'clock yesterday. So yeah. So it's nice and fresh. I mean, I remember all the results. I'm pretty sure as we go through it, there'll be like spots that come back. But I mean, we got into it.
We enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more. But yeah, unless anyone's got any comments to make before we kick off, should we kick off?
When did you?
When did you
watch the show?
Wow! I had the exquisite pleasure of essentially borrowing my friend's network account and watched it live.
Check you out.
It's always fun watching it live. It's a better experience watching it live and with someone else. Like, I find it difficult to watch something live by myself.
Very much.
Yeah, we just could not stay awake from it.
I had like a monster in the morning and a monster at night as well to prepare for this, and talking to my friend throughout the entire thing as well helped a lot in like keeping me awake.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and it makes it something like I know you tend to vibe on like going through like Blue Sky and Twitter and stuff like that when you're going through it and seeing what people are saying, and generally that keeps me awake and a bit more into it because connecting with other people on certain things as well.
It's a lot of fun watching along with other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's kick into things. NXT Deadline, 7th of December, from the Armory in Minnesota. And there's nothing to kick off with. There's literally no segments, no talk, or there's like hyping up whatever. But the first match of the night is simply an Iron Survivor. And it's the men's Iron Survivor, which I thought was very interesting, firstly, because typically speaking, the men tend to main event over the women. But that's very different this time around. I'm very glad to see it. So, of course, we have Javon Evans, we have Wesley, we have Ethan Page, we have Nathan Fraser, and we have a mystery fifth person, as Eddy Thorpe was taken out beforehand on NXT TV by someone who is a mysterious person who we don't know just yet. I won't go into details of what happened in the match itself because it's quite a long match. But
was
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Yeah, it's a lot of match.
So
that is a good
all I will do is just go over who pinned who at what point and the points that were given out essentially, and then go into an opinion for the match. And then the rest of it is more or less just the exact same thing as it is on normal reviews. So we kick things off with Wes pinning Javon. Wes has 1 point to everyone else. Nathan pins Ethan Page later on. Wes and Nathan have 1 point each. Then Ethan Page pins Nathan Fraser. They have 1 point each now, so that is Nathan, Wes, and Ethan. At this point, we are revealed to who the fifth person is. And that fifth person is someone who can be personified by what Nikki and Craig are doing right now.
Twing.
But for those who are uninitiated and not aware, it was Oba Femi who is the 5th person in this match. And it feels very bittersweet, and I'll get into why later. So yeah, Oba comes in, he destroys, he pins Javon, and now he has 1 point. So they all have 1 point except for Javon. Until Javon pins Wes. So they all have 1 point each now. Then Ethan pins Oba. Ethan's going to go on 2 points now, so everyone's 1. Javon pins Ethan. So Javon and Ethan have 2 points now. At this point, it's like within a few seconds of each other. So Ethan's now going to get in the box with Oba.
Oh, God.
That was a highlight for me of the match. Of just Ethan pleading to not get in the box.
Great chicken shit heel.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
It was
Really good.
there was so much tension as he was going in. I was just like, I've seen this in movies before, and it doesn't end well for him.
Nope.
And I'll do one more thing here, and that is Oba pins both Wes and Nathan at the end to get a double pin and 2 points, which puts him to 3, and Oba wins 3-2-1-2-1. Does that make sense? So, okay. I rated it 3 stars firstly, the match. It was, for me, a standard Iron Survivor. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it also wasn't the best it could have been. I said this at the before, in that I wasn't that interested in having like 3 or 4 guys of the exact same type in this match. In that you've got Javon, Wes, and Nathan, who are all fast-paced high flyers, which works. And then Ethan's there, who doesn't really add much. Like he's a sound wrestler who knows what he's doing, and that's about it. Then you had Eddy Thorpe, who I guess was the 5th person who you can add a bit more dynamic to it, but not who you really wanted from it. And then you bring in Femi, who is revealed to be the mystery 5th person who may have taken out Eddy, maybe. And Femi's really good because Femi's who I wanted from the get-go. However, my main issue with this is he didn't qualify to be in this match.
It was an odd one, especially...
You have 3 other people who could have been put in this. Like Cedric, Axiom himself, and Lexus King.
Yeah.
But
See that little red dot? That's just appearing on your screen right there. That lightning.
Shawn Michaels is like
It's censoring. I mean, it's just censor. That knocks me out.
Just kick down.
But no, it's everything in the match was done well. It was just Oba's presentation as well wasn't what I thought it would be. He's a powerhouse, dominating machine. He comes in for about a minute or 2, he's in charge, and then suddenly he's pinned. It's really weird because he's been portrayed for so long as something larger than life that he seems actually somewhat human in this match.
Yeah.
Like he has moments where he's dominating, or moments where he has like the rah sort of thing, but other than that, he's a human. He appears much lower to how he normally would appear.
I
I
actually said something like that during the match, but I felt like it was intentional because Oba, with every monster, has weakness, and we know what that weakness is. And I think Oba's weakness is speed. Like, if he can bat them down, absolutely fine. But when somebody's much faster than him and they can get around him, especially multiple people, that's when he starts to get tied up, which kind of tracks with the big monster that eventually they will get overwhelmed. And I kind of like the fact that he had to fight a little bit, that he had to kind of, like, that it did kind of he still looked like a monster because like he absolutely turned Ethan into a ragdoll, and you know he had some really great moments. But I like the fact that he kind of had to fight from underneath a little bit sometimes as well. It kind of might humble him, and we might see him go into. He might be like, all right, okay, I guess I need to start fighting some more of these like high flyers, so that he can get. You know, it was interesting, but I know what you mean, that it kind of made him less, but I think they needed to do that, because I don't know about you guys, but the minute Oba's music hit, I was like, oh, Oba's winning.
Yeah. Literally, we do our predictions beforehand, but because we knew Eddie wasn't going to be in it, we didn't know who was coming out. We didn't put it down, and we was like, let's just wait. We were guessing who it was. We said Lexus King could potentially be. We both said it was going to be Oba because we wanted it to be Oba, and it, like you say, to balance out the high flyers and the Ethan of it all, to with a big pin, that would make the match way more interesting, and it did. When you have that element, but if to Nikki's point there about making him seem a bit more human, Tony D'Angelo did that. He showed that he's not an unstoppable monster, and I think when you've got an unstoppable monster, there's only so far you can take him before
run out
of road. He's got to be shown to be someone who is somewhat beatable. For him to come back his first match after how many months? 3 months, 2 months?
It's a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks. Yeah.
Time has been an absolute menace.
Because he fought Tony D'Angelo, didn't he, in the Table Rares and Scares match?
Yeah. So that was
Halloween Havoc.
Havoc. So about just over a month. Then. It was.
But then we also saw him with the Nikki Alliance thing as well on TV. So he has been around.
That's very true.
It's been on TV, just
but
not in
to come back straight in with like you say, with the high flyers and stuff like that, and the speed is a factor for him. So because in my opinion, he's taken it at New Year's Evil. Whoever has it. That's my. I'd like to see that. I'd really like to see that, because for me, Oba should be champ.
Yeah.
He's pure aura. He's pure. Like the second he came out, we looked at it, I was like, I felt good, because I was like, oh, look, Oba's back, man.
Yeah.
Like, look at him. Yeah, that's the feeling you get from someone who's special, when their charisma just oozes off them as they walk down the fucking ramp. And so, like, I want him to be at the top, because I like Trick a lot, but they're telling me I like Trick. Oba's just making me like him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
by just existing, and which is it's so cool. It was an odd choice, I will say, to have him being. No, I thought he was going to come in. Yeah, I thought he was going to get way more pins when he came out. I thought he's going to pin them 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, because he should.
Yeah, I legitimately thought we're going to have 4 people in the box at once, and Oba just waiting on the outside.
When Oba's music hit, I immediately went, "Oh shit, it's Oba," because it feels like he's been away for a long time. But in reality, it hasn't. I'm not mad they kept him off TV, because it makes sense to get that reaction when he comes out for this match. I know he didn't qualify, but when you've only been beaten twice, I think you can do pretty much whatever you want. The stuff with Ethan, fantastic. I'm not so. The fact he got pinned right early on didn't really register as a issue to me, because like it's been said, I think he needed to be presented as someone who can be beaten, especially with the NXT title match coming up at New Year's Evil. Like if he's the same Oba who can't be pinned, like I just don't think it has the same match will have the same impact as it would if he hadn't have been pinned and lost his title. So he can show a different side of himself in that title match. I mean, he's definitely, I agree with Mike, he's definitely winning. Like, as soon as I saw him come out, he's winning the match and he's winning the title. Just straight away, that's the way this should go anyway. But at the beginning of the match, you know, with the three bouncy guys, I'm big fan of that type of match. I like fast paced. I like flying, even though when Javon dove over near the corner post and he got NXT, I thought that's cool, but I mean, I literally see it most weeks on TNA every hours later. Like, it has no real impact. But they got NXT. Like, you've seen that before. You've 100% seen that before.
Especially British, because you know.
Yeah.
Throw something onto the ground without killing two dudes and hit himself.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
You know, shout out Leon Slayer who did it first.
Leon cleared the ring post.
Yeah. It's like some of the Leon would do.
Yeah, he does.
You know, like Leon Slater does that stuff.
He does.
Like, I can't wait to see more of him on TV. Please, thank you.
Please and thank you.
I love Javon. I think he's great. It was tag team wrestling and like flippy dippy aerial wrestling that got me into wrestling. So whenever I see any combination of multiple like flippy dippy fast guys, I'm happy. But the addition of Oba was exciting because it's a brick wall, and flippy dippy plus brick wall is always fun. Yeah.
Or like Kirby. He's playing Kirby or something.
But I mean, he should have pinned all four of them. He should have pinned everyone in that match at the same time.
Yeah.
But,
the double pin.
It's just the Roman Reigns at Mania, but it's like all 4, 1, 2, 3, just all stacked.
I thought he was going to do like a Roman. I thought he was going to do like a Roman Reigns stack 'em, pin 'em kind of thing. I thought he was going to do that.
That would have been.
Should have had his spot on that. He should have stood spot on all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Lay across them all.
But I've got to say, it happens every time, and this is not a knock to the guy. Because I say it every single time, I like Ethan Page. However, he has become known to me as, oh yeah, Ethan Page. Don't know what it is. But with
he legitimately forgets he's there.
I forget he's there, and I shouldn't, because he's really fucking good. And I don't want to go too far ahead, so I'll speak about it later, but where I think it could potentially be going, I am incredibly hopeful. In fact, I would say I'm excited more than anything, because I
wonder why.
He deserves a lot more. So funny, because he was the first. Did he get pinned first?
No. That was Javon.
When he came into the match to get pinned relatively quickly, I can't remember, because basically came in, I was like, got pinned, and I was like, oh yeah, it's fuck you Ethan Day.
Yeah, it was fuck Ethan immediately.
In NXT, it's not Rusev Day, it's fuck Ethan Page Day. It seems like, because every time he's just getting screwed over, man. When he has a big spot, Joe Hendry fucking comes out, and it's like, Joe Hendry. You know, I feel bad, but they all had a really good showing.
Yeah,
3.5 from me.
Yeah, 3.5. Did anyone say what happened to him?
Oh yeah,
early on,
you see him quite early on, like when he fell off the ropes a wee bit. He started moving really slow after that for a while, and it was like he twinged something, or did he get knocked? Or...
I did notice that, and I think it's one of those things where you pick up a little tweak, and you sort of like, and then the adrenaline kicks in, and it's like, oh, actually no, that's nothing.
It came back after he went in the box. It was a while, but when he finally went in the box, came back out, he seemed fine. But between then and then, he was like noticeably like carrying himself different. Yeah. As long as he's fine, that's fine.
Yeah, he's still throwing his hard moves. It's just when it came to stuff like standing 1-on-1 or Von was running the ropes, and instead of like kind of doing what he would do, where it's like he'd take the step forward, turn around kind of thing, he was just turning like Nigel McGuinness when he returned. You know, he just
changed himself. He's
like a bit slowly kind of thing. Not to shit on Nigel McGuinness, that was a long ass comeback, and he was on the biggest in stage, you know, but it like he was stopping himself from moving particularly, and like you say, it seemed to have gone away by the end, but it was like his quad or his hip or something.
Keep an eye on that.
It was like when
rest that.
I don't think it's rested. That's 100% anyway.
No, God no.
Especially after that
just
match.
Just felt noticeable from
noticeably slower.
The match when it started to like 2 minutes later. He tried to jump onto the top ropes, and I believe he slipped. And after that, he slowed down. So that's why I think to what you said, DP. I think it's a slight twinge of something, but I think it knocked him. And also, it could have been a mental thing. He's just had back surgery.
Like I don't want to assume anything or like speculate on someone's injury status or whatever, but I think he's fine, personally.
Right on.
Because
I do hope so.
What happens later on as well, like we'll get into that later on, but I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, so we move on to a vignette. We are back to TV, everyone. It's Lexis King. He's skulking around Minnesota, and he's rambling.
Skulking.
It was a drunken ramble. It felt.
He's creeping around. No, he's rambling about how he's not, his father's son, which is not how that works, firstly. But all I'm thinking at the time is, just cut your fucking hair, man. Like, if you don't want to be associated with your father, the first thing you do is don't look like your fucking father. Like, everyone sees him. You see the blonde, long hair. You think, oh shit, Brian Pillman. Oh wait, no, he's dead. That's his son.
Yeah, but the crazy beard and weird little shading that he's got around here, that surely is enough.
You mean awesome beard and tremendous shading?
The drawn on beard.
And honestly, Mike, stop, come on.
We
don't hear from him.
I do agree. He looked. It's hilarious. I've never actually considered that before. Of like, be your father's son. You fucking hair, dude.
Just a simple change. Like, stop.
It would change everything.
Stop wearing leather jackets.
Yeah.
Even dyeing his hair will change it.
Literally, yes. Literally, just change something. That's like, because then we are once away from him literally being in his house with a fucking gun and threatening to shoot someone. Like, that's how close we are to him being Brian Pillman. Like,
Pillman got a gun.
It's, I don't know. But yeah, he's skulking around Minnesota. He's like, I'm not my father's son. I'm not Indiana Survivor. Yada yada. I'm going to be the best there ever was to catch them on my real test. After that, we go on to the match of the night. So it's time for NXT Underground. Everyone just
That's so annoying.
By the way, the black shirts got their own little entrance. I love that. I was like, yeah, the black shirts are here. Woo!
Oh god.
The red shirts at Progress and something, if they all got a little entrance at the beginning of the show, we'd all be like, yeah!
But they come out and they start tapping the ring before anyone's actually in the ring.
Oh god.
And then we cut away to like a VT or something, and then we come back and they're all still. It's like, well, you just stood there for that
5
whole
minutes
time,
of
just like in the ring.
I mean, I've done that kamikaze show. My wrist was hurting for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's too much.
Like it's just you just feel the ring and you know it's really hard. Like the ring is really hard to like touch. So doing this constantly.
I mean, I was getting in the ring at Kamikaze once for a photo, and I banged my knee on the apron, and I'm paying for like a month.
Hardest part of the ring.
Well, yeah. But no, it is time for NXT Underground. It is time for fists to meet. We have Jada Parker taking on the future of women's wrestling. It's Lola Vice.
You're about to.
Doing no Monet chant, doing Monet stance. But yeah, after about, I think it was like around 14 minutes, I think it was, Lola wins via knockout or ref stoppage, or what you want to call it, following a anaconda-like submission. To quote Vic Joseph there.
Anaconda-like submission.
Which we've seen the Anaconda before, the Anaconda Vice, Anaconda submissions, and it looks nothing like that. But whatever.
I've never seen anything that's Anaconda adjacent before.
No, it's Anaconda-like.
Yeah.
You're not quite.
Did Lola wrap herself around Jada and squeeze her in? Like.
Yeah.
Choked her to death. She just choked her out.
For some reason, nice.
But yeah, I rated this firstly 3.25 stars. It was a fun match. However, I had two things about this again, and little nitpicks from me, I know, and that's all it'll be this week. It went longer than it probably needed to, and secondly, it's clear as day to me that Jada Parker is not suited to this match whatsoever.
Oh.
Ooh.
Her movements in the ring looked slow and staggered.
I actually do agree with what you're saying to a degree there, for sure, because at the beginning of the match I was like, she doesn't feel comfortable that the ropes aren't there to bounce off.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think so.
She wasn't like, it wasn't that she had to think about things a little more than Lola did, and you could see it, like, you know the talent's there and you know it's in her head, because once she got into a flow towards the end, I'm actually quite glad for the time it went, because initially it was like go with punchy punch. But yeah, it lost its urgency for a moment for me because of that. And then when they started just kind of throwing ham, though, it got brutal, and I started really getting back into it. I don't think she did a bad job at all. I think it's one that she could have another crack at. But yeah, initially, I think the ropes not being there and having that very normal thing to bounce off, to gain momentum with, to use to transition into other moves, might have caught her off guard a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And yeah, absolutely, it's probably a better way than how I've said it. But again, this is all, I don't know. To me, personally, in my own experience, in my own opinion, I just didn't really see Jada's stronger side in this match. And I like Jada, don't get me wrong, I like her, and I like her typically. It's just, when someone outshines someone a lot more, because Lola, this is her stage. This is Lola's playground, literally. She's used to this. She's used to no ropes. She's used to just having a certain structure you can't leave as part of the match. Like, she ran circles around Jada. And obviously wrestling's not, it's scripted, whatever. But...
What? I'm wasting my time.
It's just, I don't know. I found it a bit hard to enjoy in certain places. And then they brought the brick out, and then it was like, oh, here we go again. Which didn't get used in the end, by the way.
Yeah.
It was just in her hand, and it was like, oh, that's on the floor now. Oh, that's over.
Threat of a brick.
That was because it's the only way. Because it's not Jada's match. It was.
Yeah.
Lola, you're coming to my fucking house here, mate. Like, she didn't say that, but imagine if she just went northern all of a sudden.
And Jada did say, "Oh, I can beat you without the brick," but then ultimately went and got the brick, which meant she knew that she couldn't beat her without the brick. Yeah. So that was like a little story point, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I wish she had at least swung with it Like,
Yeah.
I think at the end she went to, but did Lola catch with an elbow or
no,
something like that?
Yeah, she kept knocking her out.
Yeah, Lola hit
Yeah.
the 305, the backwards, the spin around fist that I think Kingston does in AEW, or used to, Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, spinning back.
Yeah.
That was when you said elbows are dangerous.
Spinning back fist, spinning back elbow. I've seen so many faces explode. Of that
And John
move.
Cena did it.
Yeah.
You can't forget Cena did that move too.
Who? Sorry.
John Cena, he did that move too.
Did he?
Alright.
For like 2 months, he used that move.
What, the debut, was it, or?
No, like this was. He came back from filming a movie and was using. He called it something though, because he'd been training in martial arts, and he called it something.
Oh, he was doing the Five Moves of Doom thing. He was doing that. Like he had the whole like Kamehameha move or whatever. Like.
God, when was
that?
You know,
Watching that.
Was that kind of like, because I got back into it end of 2010, kind of 2010. That was it around then?
It was long after that.
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Like Cena had the transplant hair.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to
watch that.
Oh my
That was
God.
probably during just like a dark time where neither of us can remember anything. It's just like gone into our little like. Was that during the bad times, like the real bad times?
Oh yeah,
Pre-Thunderdome.
It was like 2018, 2019, something like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, most things from then just kind of went out.
I think he did get Triple H at a Saudi show. He used it on Triple H at Saudi show.
Oh, maybe.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay, we can check that one out.
But yeah, back to Underground. Craig, what do you about Lola and Jada?
For this match, I honestly enjoyed it. I was fully behind Jada Parker. I really wanted to win this match, even though I kind of thought she wasn't. But I was backing Jada. Yeah, I didn't pick up on Jada's like almost hesitation when it came to the no ropes thing. I didn't really pick up on it until you just mentioned it. Now, thinking back, yeah, I think it's noticeable. But then, like Mike said, she got into it. She found her feet and started using them. The Brit thing, I didn't mind too much because, like Nikki said, it's like a story point. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. But I couldn't tell if the crowd were cheering because most of them looked like they're sat on their hands, but it was being played. Like I couldn't tell if they were pumping noise in or not because, like I said, it looked like they were sat on their hands most of the time. The people around the ring, I don't know who it was. There was a guy in front of the hard cam, kind of looked like Rocky Romero. Like, he's getting too into it. Like. Overreacting to a lot of things, and it was kind of irritating. It was very distracting. Because it just, and also they said there were fans who queued up early to stand around the ring. Yeah, of course WWE are going to sanction people off the street coming in and getting kicked in the face. Of course,
there's bricks and chairs flying around. Yeah,
tell us it's your PC guys because that's who they are, and that's fine. That's who it's always been.
Security.
I prefer the idea of someone off the street coming in to be security for the show. And
I shouldn't do that.
I was in Orlando.
Just on the streets of Florida, I was like, "Hey, you! Do you want to pay for a day?" Just
I'll use the syphilis.
Florida man, come.
Yeah,
I go on.
I was just going to say that I enjoyed the match, and the timing, to me, I thought was a little bit short, but now, again, looking back, I think they've got the timing right.
I really enjoyed it. You know, I love Jada, and I've been cheering Jada on since the beginning, and became quite the fan of Lola. And this is clearly Lola's Stomping Ground, this is her match type. This is her stuff. And I think that Jada is wanting to go a bit more down that road with her style. So I was really excited to see her in it. I thought that she did quite well. It clearly wasn't her match. She knows that she's in Lola's domain, which was why she kept getting frustrated and getting out of the ring and grabbing things, and just like, I enjoyed seeing that kind of that process for Jada. And she did seem slightly, like I say, really slightly uncomfortable because of the ropes kind of not being. Thought that for her, I thought she did really, really well. That she tried some moves that I think we've not really seen her do much. She tried a lot of submissions. She held her own really well, because Lola is quite the looks like she's quite the heavy hitter. Like, she's quite stiff in parts. I think they both took it to each other really well. And I also think that part of it was them both learning to kind of actually respect each other, because at the end of that, there's no way that Lola can say Jada isn't shit, and there's no way that Jada can say that Lola's not shit. And I'm hoping this actually leads to them being a team in some way, like it started out as. Remember, they were going to tag together, and she was like, "Nah, I don't want to work with you." I think they got a newfound respect for you. So I thought the time was a few moments where it was a little bit like, oh, but I give it 3.5. I thought it was a really good way to kind of energy flow. But my biggest criticism is the constant ring. You can't hear, because of the ring mics, it drowns out the audience. You can't hear the crowd. Because when Jada would be like out on the ring outside, you could hear them when the camera was following her, so the crowd were quite into it. But the banging on the apron drowns that out, because it's right there on the mic. So I find it really distracting and like a bit overstimulating with my autism. The noise, I don't like it. So other than that, I enjoyed it, but I hate that. Annoying.
I think the only reason why I wasn't a fan of these, like, not so much not a fan, is I was shocked at how long it went. But I had to remind myself it's not Bloodsport.
Yes,
because I love Bloodsport and I love those styles of matches, and I really want to see Lola get over there.
They need to put her on Bloodsport. She'll do so.
It worked for Carmen Petrovic as well, and
Carmen did great.
Lola will do really. I think she'd do gangbusters there. She really would. But yeah, I don't think Jada did bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was a pretty good match. I'm like yourself. It's 3.5 for me, because of how hard they clearly were throwing shots, and they were trying to get a bit of that Bloodsport vibe, or well, obviously not underground vibe, and that like kind of bit more shooty. But yeah, for sure. Those bloody hands, man. But the thing is, one thing I was confused by was the fact that, was it no DQ? Is it officially a no DQ situation? Because I thought chairs and that weren't allowed.
So when I was watching with my mate live, I was constantly saying, "Oh, I hope they use weapons in this. I hope," because I know in my head that they don't really go to it, because it's an MMA style match. So they don't use weapons because that's not allowed to use foreign objects.
That's it.
Yeah, so I was confused when she was got the chair and it was all cushy. I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is allowed.
So this is
even in like
WWE MMA rather than MMA, you know.
Yeah, it's the sports entertainment element of it and stuff like that, and like we say, there's the story element there that you can throw in because of it. But it was the fact that the ref, even on like no DQ matches, street fights, Hell in the Cells, the ref will still, if someone gets a chair, they'll still go, wait, maybe don't do that. Did. Fuck all. He said that.
In all fairness, maybe the ref couldn't see them because how dark the lights were.
It was very very true.
True.
You know what? Scratch it. But good parts of the pay, like those two matches.
This is more aesthetic for me. It's nothing really serious, but I'd really prefer if they didn't do these matches in the arena. Like, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Raw Underground?
Yeah,
and that was a full-on underground setting, and it looked like it was proper underground.
Shayna and Thingy did one, didn't they? And they had it at the different place. That match they had.
That was at the PC.
UFC Apex.
It was the Apex.
Yeah. Thank you. It was the Apex.
It just, I don't know what it is.
And that was great.
Yeah, it's just aesthetically doing it in the same place where they're going to have all of our matches. It kind of makes it feel not that special.
Yeah.
You know what you mean? Yeah, that's right. I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
But yeah, I have to do a little resyndication. Is that a word? I don't know. But I said it felt like 14, 15 minutes. It was actually 10.
Oh, there we go. It must have felt long to you, though.
Yeah.
Even then, I still think that was like that's a
it's a good amount of time.
A good amount of time for that style of match because you're trying to knock each other out.
Yeah. It is.
You know what I mean?
I said it went a bit too long for the match, and it turns out it didn't really. At least in my estimation, you know, like
rescinded. There you go. Did it?
But yeah. After this, we go backstage. Axiom and Nathan Frazier here. It's Fraxium. Are they fractured yet? We don't know. Axiom is basically assuring Nathan that they're okay. Nathan seemingly has no idea what day it is. He's out of it, like really out of it. He's been patched up, but he's not really there. And Nathan won't have much more time to recover because they're up next.
Yeah.
So it is a time for the NXT Tag Team Championships in the third match of the night. We have the Ren Quarter Catch Crew, the Ren QCC. We have Tavernicus Heights and Miles Bourne taking on a team of Fraxium, the Tag Team Champions, Nathaniel Fraser and Axiom, who are currently 96 days as champions. Little fun fact there at the time of the show. Which for some reason they felt need to tell us that they were 96 days in as champions. Which no one else got that true graphic of how long they've been champion.
Didn't notice. Did not notice.
So, would the fresh NQCC win? Or would one fresh man and his banged up partner win and retain the titles? The answer would be 1.5 men as Fraxium win and retain following the inside cradle on Miles Bourne from Axiom. I rated this 3 3/4 stars. I have to give the match credit. NQCC had no real build, had no real momentum, and had no heat going into this match. They had basically nothing going into this, and they didn't even get a crowd reaction when it came out. The four of these guys put on a great match, a great showing even. And I've said it before and I've said it again. While the NQCC are great, they're not going to take the titles off Fraxium. It can't be a random team who wins a random battle royal to earn the right to challenge on the same week as the PLE. It just feels very lazy. And Tavian and Miles in particular have had no build in regards to this. They've been part of the massive tag team brawling stuff. And the only two teams that have come out of that being like, oh, actually, they might have a shot here if they face Fraxium. One is OTM, who have been the active people against Fraxium, saying, oh, you guys need to take the titles more seriously. And the other team being, of course, Hank and Tank, because they've got the momentum and the heat. Thank you. So, I mean, despite Nathan being injured and the many comments online saying that they shouldn't have won because Nathan was injured, or, injured, NQCC were no better in this case, in this scenario. And again, I like NQCC. Just to put out that I do like them. You got 3 guys and Miles, I mean, it's absolutely fine. And I don't know. I'd rather see. I think Stand and Deliver, we're going to get more of it. I think New Year's Eve, we're going to get more of it. with either OTM or Hank and Tank, or a 3-way tag team match. Because I think we're getting Wesley. I think we're getting Nathan Fraser and Axiom in a one-on-one match at Stand Deliver.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can see that.
3 and 3/4 stars is what I said. The floor is yours.
I gave it a clean 4. It was going into it. I thought NQCC showcase.
Yeah.
These guys are good. Tavian has come back from Japan with not gusto.
Yeah.
He's got so much more personality. Miles is definitely looking more confident, and he too did a blood sport, and I think that was really good for him and us to see, because it's like, oh, you've got some anger behind you, you've got some aggression, and he's brought that over, which is nice to see. The 4 of them put on an absolute clinic. Awesome fun. It had the drama, the high drama that you want in that situation. The Nathan element, because he's clearly, they were going to work it. They worked his ribs. They couldn't work his face because that was legitimate exploded, and he still had the fucking stuff up his nose, and he had black eyes. This side was all swollen. So he was clearly like, he was good to go, obviously, because they wouldn't let him out if he wasn't. So they got to work his ribs, and he sold for his life and didn't slow any pace. Axiom played the fresh hero so well.
Yeah.
It gave me everything I wanted from that match. And if they had lost, it's like, okay, let's keep this Fraxium story going. This is what I've said all along. I think a couple of weeks ago I even said, it's like, there's win or lose for Fraxium, they've got an avenue to go down afterwards.
Yeah, it's not just the end.
But I'm with you as far as kind of like the potential people to take it off them. While I would love it to be Hank and Tank, honk, OTM looking good right now, and I think they're going to be the ones to take it. So yeah, that actually played into my prediction, which is why I predicted that Fraxium would actually win it. But yeah, nice 4 stars. Really good match. Fun. Remind me of Black and Gold era.
Yeah, I genuinely had the same thought of this is like the tag team matches we used to get from between like the Viking Raiders and War Raiders and Ricochet and Aleister Black, or DIY and FTR. Yeah, its tag division has fluctuated a fair few times, but I really enjoyed this match. It's not very often now like they can get me with things, how they booked this match, of not believing the champions are going to win because one's hurt and then struggling against fresh opposition. So when they did it, it actually popped me. Really wasn't expecting it, and I thought Axiom was going to turn on Fraser, because I noticed that Axiom had grown a beard, and so if you grow a beard, you're going to turn heel, aren't you?
Yeah.
Naughty beard, the naughty beard.
But
I can confirm I turned heel.
Yeah. It was I really enjoyed this match. NQCC, that they've been mainly since Damon Kemp left. I'm not saying NQCC have really stepped up. Tavion is a beast, and the RKO chants at Miles Bourne made me laugh. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, all right, they've got a spot. He's even if his trunks, if those trunks turn blue, they're Randy Orton's original trunks. It's the same thing. But no, I'm big fan of the NQCC. More so since Ren came in, but get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Fraxium, it's almost like we're waiting for it now. I just can't figure out when they're going to do it, because for me last night was an opportunity, but I'm wondering when the next opportunity is going to come from to pull the trigger on whatever they're going to do with these two. But all in all, what a match! I don't typically react to near falls that much anymore, but they got me a few times on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm all good with it. All good with it.
That whole moment of, you know, when Axiom knocks out Nathan by accident, and then Nathan's on the apron, Axiom's taken out, Nathan's then taken out on the apron, and then NQCC they hit their tag finisher on Axiom, and then they pin him. In that moment, I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna happen. And then he kicks out at the last second, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, I've not reacted to a tag team match in particular like that in a while. Like, sorry, a WWE tag match like that in a while.
Yeah.
I was like, there's been a fair few good tag team matches outside WWE, but in WWE itself, there's very few that get me to react in a certain way.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, because it's like Craig said, I'm still waiting for that break between Fraction. I'm still waiting for that fracture. You know,
I don't know if it's going to come. I think that they've been leaning to it, or was it just a case of them proving to, like, finally getting on the same page and just proving to each other, well, we can actually work as an actual team. If one of us is broken, the other one picks up the slack, and you know, that's maybe that's how we work. But yeah, the impending breakup does feel like it's coming, but part of me would love it if they just swerved and were like, no, this is just us now. But I gave the match 4 stars. I really enjoyed myself, and it wasn't one of the matches that I wasn't looking forward to it. It just wasn't on my I'm excited for this match kind of thing, because I was like, they're gonna come out, they're gonna lose, Nathan's gonna be banged up, blah blah blah, they're gonna lose, Fraxium fractured, cool. But it didn't go that way. I loved how the NQCC looked. They've both been like, all as a group, like you said, since Kemper left, they've really stepped it up, and you know, we've seen them all at Bloodsport. You know, Charlie's been doing a lot. They've all been looking great individually and as a team. I think they're setting these guys up to be a legitimate wrestling team, as in these guys actually compete. These guys compete in the true sense of the word, not just here. They're going out to Japan, they're going to Bloodsport, they're going here, there, and they're getting their reps in. So they might not be built brilliantly in terms of story, but they're a threat, because these guys aren't just working within NXT, they're going off and wrestling other people, they're fighting other people, and so that is quite interesting to me. I think they're going to be a bit of like the NXT's BCC. Obviously, we had the insertion of Willie Regal recently too, which kind of pushes that a little bit.
So cool.
The near fall that you were talking about, that one, I was excited going, okay, this is it. So I popped huge for that, and that's why this match had everything for me. It was exciting, it had jeopardy, it had some excellent wrestling, it had some fun, it had some like shit, because like every time Nathan Frazier took any bump, I winced because I've broken my nose, and I don't know if he's broken his nose, but it looked super broken to me because it wouldn't stop bleeding. Your entire face hurts when you've broken your nose, so even the slightest like movement of your head wrecks. So that whole match just had me gripped, and I love tag team wrestling as well, and high flyers. So like,
Yeah, the perfect
it's
team.
perfect for me. And I really love like technical wrestlers and like Japanese, right? You know, so all of that in that one little match, perfect for me. So yeah, I loved it.
And Mouthboard.
I'm in Miles' corner. I know he looks like Randy Orton, and that's becoming an issue because he's always looked like Randy Orton, yet some people just recently noticed it. And so now I think he's kind of having fun with it by purposely wearing Randy style stuff because he doesn't usually. He's been leaning into it a bit on his social media with Randy Orton, which is funny. But yeah, I actually think. Remember, the guy is also he's hearing impaired, so as like just for that, he's deaf. That's why they always make that joke where they're like Miles, and he's like, what? They're always joking with him about it.
I thought he was just saying that his head's in the air or something. Like he's to pay attention. Like,
he's actually hearing impaired.
All this time, have you just been kind of thinking?
I didn't know that.
Fucking attention.
So
he's in there with some of the best in the world.
He's not even listening.
That's why I rag on him because I thought he's not paying attention.
So Melbourne is actually hearing impaired,
I'm more impressed now.
See what I mean? When you know that, and you're like, he's in the ring with it, you know, and he has to communicate differently. Things are different, and you wouldn't know.
No.
And so I always have extra admiration as somebody with disabilities and impairments to see somebody with an impairment or what disability, however they want to phrase it,
going so hard
and doing so great. I'm like, fuck yeah.
It's
so
like,
I always have honor. He's great.
It's like, just to go on a little segue as well. Like I don't follow like mainstream TV like in the UK particularly, but on BBC there's a show called Strictly Come Dancing, and there's a guy called Chris McCausden who's a comedian, and he's blind, and he's doing the full routines, he's doing the full dance routines, choreographed in time, not missing a beat, with a partner as well who is fully abled. Like,
so impressive.
That's insane to me. That's someone who can't see, literally can't see,
and doing lifts.
Yeah.
Representation.
So in the same way,
love it.
Like in the same way, you said that Miles Bourne is hard. Is he hearing impaired or hard of hearing? What was it?
Hearing impaired. He's like half deaf in one ear.
Yeah, he's deaf in one ear, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So that's.
It's always from one side they do it.
So if they stood on one,
When you hear him speak as well, he actually does have a bit of he sounds a little bit like he might have something going on with his voice. That's why I actually thought initially, it's like, is this guy potentially a bit deaf, hearing impaired? And then, as it turns out, he was.
Yeah.
My eyes have been opened to this, honestly. Like,
I check him out different now, and you'll see the jokes are brilliant. Like when Charlie started hitting them at first, they go Miles, and he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll go let's go wrestle. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought because he was like he was like the young one of the group, like the young lion, sort of like the young boy. Like I just thought that's what it was. Like
he still has that vibe though. He is especially since Tavian came back, and he is so he's running around that ring, he's screaming, he's chanting. Definitely get that kind of more serious, legitimate college wrestler vibe.
Yeah.
From Miles, but it doesn't hurt because when as face he can have a bit of he can joke with it and stuff like that. He's clearly got a sense of humor. When they're heel, that's just gonna pay to them because he can be the strong silent type who occasionally says something kind of funny if he needs to.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. But yeah, he definitely is the young. One of the young lions.
He's like the young lion. Yeah.
Even though they're all young lions. Like Charlie Dempsey does seem like a vet in comparison to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Where just the way he holds himself, he's got this fatherly thing going on. He comes out in a jumper and he's got his mustache. Well, he's shaved it now, but still, sorry, dog's just gonna.
His little shirt. He looks like proper little dad, doesn't he? Go on. Dog's bullying his way under the
just to the to if you don't mind, just to something you've all pointed out on just in that match previously. That count out spot that you're talking about. It was the miscommunication when he hits Nathan with the drop kick.
Yeah.
It was so perfectly timed because they've done that repeatedly over the last few months, or like, well, every time they've defended the titles, but they've always done that spot at the beginning, early on in the match.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that they weren't a unit, and then it happened, and so that feeling of like, oh my god, they
you were reminded
I was reminded in that moment, and it did make you feel because they've been doing it, and it's like, oh god, yeah, they keep miscommunicating. Timing it for them was genius. Really, really good, nice little tiny bit of like just a little bit of nuance, which made all the difference and the impact. And so yeah, like it got that's something that got me really excited. Love the way they tell that story. Sorry to derail from the Miles Bourne loving, because he is man. He's a man.
Yeah, this is
long way to go.
Like this would probably be match of the night if it wasn't for another match. But yeah, but yeah. After this we go backstage. It's an interview with Javon Evans. He's just talking about the match and how he wants to put in the women's Survivor, and he's like, "Oh wait, no, actually don't do that because they're all quite scary in there." When it comes Wesley, who's like, "Bro, why are you being stupid?" And I'm just like, "Wes?" And then Javon's like, "This guy's being salty," and I'm like, ugh. And then Wes just punches him. I'm like, "Yeah, get him, Wes."
Yeah, close fists.
Just socked him in the face.
It wasn't even like, they usually go for a slap in that. That was just a straight up like, boom. In a bar, you've been speaking to my girl, or you've done something ridiculous, just running over and clocking him.
Yeah. But guys, do you think they'll fight on NXT this week?
Oh, I don't know. Can't be sure about that. Maybe.
Yeah. One thing I reckon.
But no,
just a flash in the pan. They'll be ready.
Nikki, what were the words? Nikki, what were the words that you used to describe the match that just happened? The tag match, like you said, there was a lot of jeopardy. There was like.
Yeah, it was fast paced. There was a lot of adrenaline, lots of jeopardy. It was exciting.
Mm-hmm. So imagine had all of
fun.
That. Imagine took all those things and removed them, and then you had the next match of the night. You had the fourth match of the night. It was for the men's NXT Championship. We had challenger Ridge Holland taking on champion Trick Williams. Trick wins and retains with the trick shot. I hate words with R's in them. Just
yeah.
Tends to be short.
So I rated this 1.5 stars. This went 15 minutes. And I checked this. I did check this as well, just to make sure. But they went 15 minutes. Now, before I say anything here on this, because it should be said, I did go on a rant on literally earlier in this video from a different day about Trick Williams. About how everything about him seems manufactured, artificial, how they literally are bringing in part-timers and legends to praise the guy, to tell you, oh, actually, you should like this guy. Or be like, oh, hey, look at this guy, he's cool. This is not influenced at all by that. This is purely on this match.
A little disclaimer.
Just a little disclaimer, because I've got to do that just in case.
Fair.
It's fair.
This match didn't do it for me. It was slow, janky, and honestly, Trick's performance here was no different from every other one-on-one Trick match that I've seen. He doesn't do much of anything of any substance. Ridge, who normally isn't the star of any match, he played to the crowd. He has the heel energy. He has the guy you want to hate energy because he killed Chase U. And that is enough to make someone want to kill someone. Like, that is how bad the energy is for him. That, in a good way, like in a heel bad man sort of energy. And Ridge did what he could. There's a lot going against him here. And in the moment, I thought he might actually believe this. He might actually win this, sorry. I might believe he could win this because of the heat against him. And I just thought there's enough there. There's enough momentum for him to really beat Trick here if Trick is actually, injured. However, no, it didn't go that way. It wasn't the case. I had a feeling, as we all did, I think, that Trick was going to win this. And
yeah,
I don't know. For the most part, he took most of the offense in this too. So again, it was just a case of, Super Trick can just get up and win. And again, I know this comes across as me being some sort of Trick hater, and maybe I am to an extent. But he can't make a match interesting unless there's some sort of stipulation in it, or if the person on the other end of the ring can bring him to a good enough level. And again, I think of like the Ilya Dragunovs. I think of the Noam Dars. That's a really weird to say. Noam Dar can bring out a good match in someone, but Noam Dar is fantastic. And other than that, I can't think of any matches that he's had one-on-one that were good. Like one-on-one matches, I mean. No. Like, Carmelo Hayes somehow had 2 bad matches with him. This guy who's killing it on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So, it's when there's enough bad matches and enough bad reception. I guess there's not because people love him for some reason. But the issue becomes him. The issue isn't the booking. The issue isn't what he's been given, because he's been given the best storyline. He's been given the highest stature that you could be given. It's just him. I can't explain it.
I said to Nikki the other night, he doesn't elevate the title, and the title doesn't elevate him.
No.
Yeah, precisely. Yes. Yeah.
The chase was what it was. It was all about the chase, and that happens with some people. For some people, it's just, let's get behind them. We're going to take them to the moon, and then when they get there, they don't know what to do. And we've seen it plenty of times. It is a shame, because I was all in with Trick. He really blew me away. And like you say, with people like Ilya who can bring that out in you, if they can bring that out of you, that's in you.
Yeah.
That's in you, man.
It's there.
It's there. So why... It takes a special talent to bring that out in someone. And where he's at, he is the guy. He should be able to bring that and elevate other people. Like you said, me, about Ridge more than anything. I'm happy and excited for Ridge because he looked confident walking down.
Yeah.
From like when he came to NXT to now, he looked like he belonged there. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He understood his role, and he felt comfortable in it. And so that was a nice thing to see. Everything else was, sadly, I don't give a good frolic what Trick's doing. And, like, nothing at all. It's... I thought maybe Ridge could win, and then Oba took it off him at New Year's Eve, and Oba won. Because it's like, are we going to go heel Oba or face Oba? We're feeling we're going to go heel, and he's going to take it off Trick. And Trick shouldn't get it back.
I've got more on that. But I'll let others talk first before I get into that.
But yeah, the rest of the match.
Great Trick in any aspect. I don't get it. This was dull. You said it went 15 minutes, it felt like 30. I did not enjoy it, was not looking forward to it. Every time the card came up for the match, like, okay, got that to come. Glad they didn't go with the main event, because then I would have been really frustrated, because there's no reason this needs to be in the main event. Thought Well, I know I wanted Ridge to win.
Sorry, Craig. Just before you continue, fun fact: this was the first Deadline that wasn't main evented by the men's world title.
Oh,
yeah.
It's been the men's Irons of Fire both times before this.
Correct decision then.
It's been, you know what I mean. It's been the title, sorry, men's world title. I mean, not the Irons Survivor.
Yeah, it was the correct decision because this match was meh. Like I said, I wanted Ridge to win, but not because I like Ridge. I don't like Ridge, but that's because of what he did as a character, which is the reaction he's supposed to be getting.
Hey, you're not supposed to like him, yeah.
But I wanted him to win because I didn't want to see Trick win.
Yeah,
I'm over it. I was over it before he won it back because it was. Like I said, there's nothing to it. This reign has been nothing to it other than overcoming a heel. That's pretty much all his reign's been. They've got to include CM Punk. They've got to include Eric Bischoff. They've got to include Cody Rhodes.
John Cena.
Yeah,
Dudley.
Dudley, exactly. You shouldn't have to have all the people coming in to tell people to like this guy. That's the reason they're bringing in. It's like to tell you to like Trick, and if anything, it's making me like him less. I'm not saying Trick isn't good, but he's not NXT Championship good.
No.
You go through the list of NXT champions, and there's multiple people better than him.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm over it. All he's got is his entrance, and that's it. I don't get it. I don't get the hype around Trick. I'm not anyone but Trick at this point for me. I can see Ray dying to say something. Go ahead.
The entrance is not an entrance. I just want to throw that out there. The entrance is not an entrance. Like, I'm all about entrances and music when it comes to wrestling. If you play his theme just by itself, it's literally just dum 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 dum, and then nothing. It purely relies on crowd involvement. So if the crowd went behind him, it's a nothing theme.
But they are. That's the point.
Yeah, they're currently behind him.
Currently behind him. Oh God, could you imagine if, like, all of a sudden they just turn on him and it was just dude. Oh wow, that would be awkward.
I have a.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, it's an empty theme.
I too found this match pretty cool. I like Ridge, and I did like Trick. See, what's confused me about what they're doing with Trick, because the whole, you like him, look, all these big stars like him, so do you. He got himself over organically early days with Carmelo. We all got on board with him. He was fine. You don't need to tell us we liked him. We just did. And people naturally started to enjoy Trick. And then they started the shiny floor show stuff on him. So they started, making him
how much they liked him.
Yeah, I think they realized how much people were enjoying him and decided to make him a big star rather than just letting that carry on organically. So they just started boosting it by doing what they've done, with Cena and Punk and Booker T and everybody. Didn't need to do that. By doing that, they've starting to, like, most fans don't necessarily like being told, this is your guy, this is your girl. And it's like, Bianca Belair was getting there. It's like, Bianca wins, lol. Like, Cena wins, lol. Like, and they pulled back stopped doing that with Bianca. They started doing it a bit too much, and they stopped because people started calling her like Bianca Berg and stuff, and Bianca Cena.
Sorry, Bianca Berg.
Yeah. There's also Jade Berg as well, but I don't really understand why they keep calling her that because
she was Jade Berg in AEW.
Jade Berg in AEW, yeah. But anyway, but I liked Trick, but I don't like this Trick now. And I think the chase for the title, super exciting, really behind him. He got the title, and it's like Bayley. You know, the chase was great.
What do we do now?
What do we do now?
Thank you,
kind of thing. We all still liked Bayley, but wanted more. Ridge, going into this, I didn't think Ridge was going to take it. I was like, I don't feel like there's been enough there for him to be the guy to take the title from someone that they've kind of built to this point. Feels like it needs to be somebody who's been, you know, about a bit longer or whatever, has got more of a story with him, probably Wesley or someone. But yeah, I just felt this was immediately a bit it was slow. It wasn't particularly interesting, so yeah, I give it about a 2. I don't really remember much about it either, if I'm honest.
I literally only remember the one entrance that happened, which was Ridge's, because TP's like really made me think about Trick's entrance now. Like, oh my god, it's so
It's the baseline.
it's just
It's the
awesome.
baseline.
Oh wow.
It's yeah.
I tell you how over he was and where he got to. Like we say, that did kind of like, because of the whole thing with Mello, and it was starting to get over, and he had that really good match with Ilya, and then everyone was like, "Oh, you can actually do this. That's cool." When you're not wearing white leather pants to wrestle in. And remember when he used to wrestle in leather pants?
I don't know how anybody wrestled.
Yeah, he used to.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, when he first came in, but like to do that progression to get in, like Nick says. So it's a shame that Trick is where he's at, and this is the caliber of match we're being given for the NXT title.
I feel like as well though, they've kind of, by making him this like superstar, because they've basically made him a WWE superstar, they've taken away what was actually special about Trick.
Yeah.
It was that he was kind of a normal guy with talent and belief, and you know, like,
I missed the barbershop.
yeah.
I wasn't going to say that, yeah.
Sunglasses, leather jackets, become mellow.
Yeah.
He become what he said Mello became and had a pop at Mello for. So I'm hoping Mello rocks up and is like, hey.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you said
Just
I changed?
Just, you know, don't do a match. No.
No.
No, we're good
Just
for now.
a promo's fine. Just a promo.
But yeah, I don't like to shit on Trick because I genuinely think he's great. I think he's got potential. I just think they've turned him into a bit of a commercial husk.
Yeah. It's.
No, I agree.
I've got to say, like, despite how I come across and what I say, I do want to see more from Trick. I just wish he turns it on more. Because
that's it, yeah.
It always seems to be off recently. And I know you said with the chase the title, you enjoyed that sort of thing. But I wasn't for lack of a better term, I wasn't turned on by it.
Yeah.
In that I knew it was coming. So it was like I didn't care. And it was like Ethan was always going to be a transitional champion for Trick. And there was no one else in that position at the moment.
Yeah, so
really
you won't buy into it because you know what's happening.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'll go quick. That's another quick segue before we move on. New Year's Evil is confirmed. We know Trick against Oba. What way are we leaning? Just simple one-word answers. Trick or Oba?
Oba.
Craig?
Oba.
See, I like how you're a bit more. I like how you're a bit more tentative with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going towards Trick.
Oh.
Because
this
goes back into what I was saying in the first match with you. that they're making Oba more human. In that he's not been pinned. He's not been pinned 1-on-1 in a standard match. Trick is going to be a standard match. Yeah, not clean. Yeah. So part of me feels like they're going to have Trick win because I don't think they're going to change all titles here at New Year's Evil.
That's a good point.
Like, we'll get into it, but Roxanne's got a match as well for New Year's Evil, but we'll get into that. And I think Roxanne's going to lose her title to whomever that is. I don't see the other title changing hands. And that would mean Trick beats Oba. Which is, in my mind, the absolute wrong call.
Completely wrong.
But at the same time, I could see, because of the whole transfer window that they've announced for 2025, I could see them fast forwarding over to the main roster.
I think that's kind of the best option, to be fair.
It is. In my opinion, it is, because he can dominate there, and there's bigger and better people. No offense to NXT, but
he's ready for the main roster.
There's not many people that he can actually, like, early wrestle.
Yeah.
On NXT at this point, with how good he is already, you know, you've had Tony D, you know, there's more people for him, and there's definitely more like entertainment that he can do over there with the amount of people there. So yeah, I feel like it's the next natural step for him, pretty sharpish.
It's a really good point.
But like, if we remember,
especially when you get. Oh no, I was just gonna say when you've got people like Sheamus, Gunther, Brecker, you got big dudes over there who are having hoss fights. Like, let's chuck him into the mix because, please and thank you.
I just don't want another like Keith Bearcat Lee moment. Because
oh my God.
2019, Keith Lee was the hottest prospect coming out of NXT. Like, and he was going to go main roster soon, and it was like, oh my God, what are we going to get with Keith Lee? Yeah. We got a Bearcat.
It's BKM and he's not there anymore. So
yeah, exactly. Obviously under different regime at the time, so hopefully under Hunter it'd be a lot better.
Hopeful.
Very hopeful. Very hopeful. I actually watched the. Sorry, no, go on.
I was just thinking of like who there is over there. You got like Drew McIntyre for one, and that's like a match I'd really want to see.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
And it's just like there's a lot of options you could do on Raw or SmackDown. Like hell, you could do Carmelo if you really wanted to on SmackDown. Like I don't know if that happened or not.
They
might have. That was hard.
Ilya.
Ilya,
when he's back.
Yeah, Ilya's there too. Absolutely. I said already. Gunter's there as well. Sheamus. There's a lot of options.
Really good point.
Yeah. There's a lot more. And he'll learn more as well still. Like, he'll be able to develop further there because, there's, like you say, there's more people there for him.
There is this feeling. Nobody.
Sorry, sorry, the dog was about to flip the table.
No, that's all right. But yeah, hopefully we see something from Trick going forward. I don't think we will because I think Trick's a bit more... What's the word? He's sort of settled into his role, and I don't think there's going to be anything changing anytime soon because I think we're getting the change on the other side of the coin in the women's division.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, wrestle by numbers for Trick now.
Yeah,
he's got his 5 moves of doom. He's got his combos, and Can you list
the combo? Because I can think of one move he does, and that's it.
It's the trick. It's the trick shot followed by the trick something else.
The kick.
Yeah.
The trick kick and then the shot. Yeah.
Fair.
But that's not his like cartwheel over grabbing the hand, which has gotten progressively less fluid.
Doesn't do it as much.
No, it's gotten way less fluid. You need the right person for that move. Mello took it like a fucking beautiful champ though. It was amazing.
I know Swerve does that move as well, doesn't it?
Swerve does something similar, for sure.
Again, he says it. Mello is him, and will always be him.
Mello is him.
After this, we move on to backstage in an interview that's very interesting with Ethan Page. He reflects on his NXT career, and that it took him only 4 matches to get to the NXT title. He reflects on his entire run in NXT. Obviously not including the moment when he's pinned 5 times by Oro Mensah. He indicates his past with the men's NXT Championship and almost being in contention for it every step of the way, because during his run in NXT he's not been anywhere else. He's been in that scene one way or another. He then comments on tonight's Iron Survivor match, commenting on Obafemi and where did he come from, because it's a valid question. He then says it took him 18 years to get to WWE, to win the world title, and also 18 years to realise he doesn't know how to get back to the title. Which I think is very interesting. It just indicates a lot about the booking that he had. And that he's realised, like, not necessarily his career as much, because I could speak on his career in other companies and stuff, but in NXT, he's only been up the top. And now he's not there. What did he do to get back up there? And I think he's part of that window, the transfer window. I think he's going to Raw SmackDown because I don't see what else he can do in NXT.
Yeah. It's either that, or if he waits till January, Josh Alexander becomes a free agent.
Oh no, he's going to AEW. Absolutely. I'm certain of that because of their link with Maple Leaf.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of that? Besides the window.
For me, was what we've been wanting for a while.
Yeah, because it was obvious.
It's what he was doing on Ring of Honor just before he left. He went a little bit more like, oh, fuck, I have to think about some things. Maybe I have to make a change. Maybe he has a crack at Tony D for the North American title. Because in my opinion, sometimes, like, from what I've seen of that title, the person who has it is always sort of like, yeah, they're not the champion, like the world champion, the NXT champion. It's sort of like being the guitarist in a rock band who's like, he's not as famous as the lead guy, but he's loved. He's got the cult following more so. And for me, that belt has done better consistently over the last few years than the main title. So maybe throwing himself into that scene. The transfer window I hadn't considered until you said it. And yeah, I could totally see Ethan moving on. I don't think he needs to necessarily be in NXT.
I was surprised that Ethan was in NXT to begin with, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So
he holds himself in the way like someone who deserves to be on the big stage. He knows what he's doing. He knows the business. He could thrive there potentially. It's not fuck you in and Raw.
There's a lot more that he can do. That isn't, I don't know. I've not really been the biggest fan of like how Ethan has been used, but that's because I know he's capable of really good things. But like you say, it has been pretty much like, let's shit on Ethan. And then in Ring of Honor, he had this where he was essentially shat on, and then he was like, hang on a minute, this keeps happening. I need to do things differently. And then he had a really great run. So I'm hoping they're just repeating that here with, so fingers crossed it means, but who knows where he's going to quit. Come another GM because NXT needs more.
That'd be quite the
story.
Or maybe, just maybe, it's the return of the Karate Man.
Oh no.
Never. Never say never.
But yeah, no, Craig, what did you think of the segment?
Interesting. Because it makes total sense. Like Nick said about his booking, came in straight to the top. Really, the only way to go is down. And that's kind of disappointing in a way because he did come in so hot and title picture from day one. But now honestly, when I seen that promo, like Mike, I thought North American title. That could be a good place and have a decent run with it. But then you'd have to take the title of Tony D, who's just won it.
Yeah.
I think Tony D's destined for the main.
Yeah, I'm just worried about, because people who, again, fair enough, former regime, but someone who's just come off a title run and on the main roster, they don't always get an awful lot. I mean, Mello was lucky in that throwing in the US title picture, but now not really what's going on. I'm just, yeah, I don't know if the main roster is. I can certainly see him on suit in the main roster. He's got the look, you know. If he comes out in a suit, he can cut a promo, and he can go. But
I have a very slight issue with that.
I'm slightly worried he's going to get the Giovanni Vinci treatment.
Exactly that. Yes.
I think
Yeah.
I think they'll make him into a bit of a breaker, maybe.
I think
he's chosen since day one.
True.
NXT,
I think you guys are being a little too hopeful with that. I just
never too hopeful.
The whole family thing that happens. Like, so obviously Tony, Stax, Luca, and Adriana. I don't know if it'd work on main roster. The whole like mafia, I'm a mafia boss sort of thing. It just, to me, comes off a bit comical, and I know that's a little maybe offensive to people of that culture, but it's just the way that wrestling is viewed. I don't think that's going to be a quote unquote serious character or serious gimmick in the way that it's intended to be, because Tony D is a fucking beast, as we know him to be. But on the main roster, there's already so many like larger than life characters that I feel like he'd be in the same league as like R-Truth. And I don't mean that in a negative way to R-Truth, but he'd be relegated to the comedy leagues, even though he's a beast of a wrestler.
No, I do get that vibe. Like, if it was still a thing, he'd be a 24/7 champion in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get that. You look at, in previous years, the FBI, when they were in WWE.
Yeah.
They got nothing. I mean,
if they did it right,
that's about it. Yeah, I do get where you're coming from on that front.
If they could do it right, if they gave them a place to go. One of the things I've noticed that the factions or the people that kind of like really succeed is when they go backstage, they've got a place to go. Judgment Day have a clubhouse. The white things are always sending VTs and stuff like that from a specific unknown location. Alpha Academy are always
in the gym.
They've been in the gym. Sure. The idea of like them doing the restaurant promos, I'd like to see it. I think it could work. I do know what you mean with like the idea. I could see how quickly it could descend into comedy, but
I think Trips has done a good job of legitimizing people like the Alpha Academy. At the beginning, the Alpha Academy, when they were under the old regime, huge joke.
Big old joke.
Don't take any of them seriously.
Yeah.
He's managed to make even the split of it. So you've got the American Made and then the Alpha Academy. They all still work, and they're not too much. Like the current thing, the Alpha Academy, they're working to the point now where they're a lot of fun. Like on AEW, you've got MXM.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun, ridiculous. But when they're in the ring, like it's different. They're not just a joke, and so there is a way now to do what would be considered like gimmick or comedy gimmick, but I don't think that the way he's doing it is comedy in a legitimate and serious way, and they've been doing it. So that's why I'm under the current regime. I would not be concerned about the family or even Metaphor going over. If it was the old regime, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Like, Metaphor, the family, none of them they'd just be, but from the examples that I'm seeing now currently, it's like, no, I can see that can work because obviously Hunter gets it. He's done NXT, that he gets it. It's like, yeah, we can have this, and they can still kick ass.
It'd be interesting to see them put it on, especially with Netflix. I wonder if Netflix are going to go a little bit more cinematic with their stuff at all. I wonder if any of the production value is going to.
That's the other element to consider as well is Netflix and like their lovely little VTs that they'll probably want to make and stuff.
Because the VTs on NXT have been they go hard sometimes.
Yeah.
They like, where the fuck did they this production value come from?
I don't see them maybe necessarily going this time.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like you said, if Tony goes, if he doesn't go completely on his own, he's going to go with the family. And I think a couple of them still need more time before they can go to the main roster. But I do say that we get Tony D in the Rumble.
That's fair. Yeah. I also think Tony's due a world title reign in NXT first before he goes up to the main roster.
Yeah, I think next year they're going to start introducing the main roster to Tony like they've done with Lash Legend. Like this. Have you noticed? I don't know if you watched the main roster much.
Yeah.
But they drop a Nikita before she got injured. Trick. Trick. And Roxanne, a couple of others. Every now and again, they're mentioned. They're brought up. They're introduced to us in some way. And then Lash Legend and Jakara.
They've been
competing.
Yeah, no,
they've been introducing
on the Saudi show, weren't they?
Yeah, they did great as well. And so, like, they started at the Rumble, they introduce them there, and then they get us used to it. So I feel like they're all going to get called up this time, and then they're going to start doing that with Tony D and some others for this next kind of, like, season.
Yeah. It's
the Rumble will see them.
Get the main crowds used to these guys because they're going to be here regularly soon.
The smart way to do it instead of being like, oh, here's from NXT, this guy, and everybody's like, ew, what?
Yeah.
They'll all be like, oh yeah, from the Rumble and from the Saudi show and from this, like, makes more sense. They've got more chance.
Do you guys remember the John Cena US Open Challenge?
Yes, I was just
what happened to him?
Sami
Zayn, yeah. Like, they both came out. They were NXT guys, and they were introduced as such, and it was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, Sami Zayn had one of the best matches with John Cena. Just by the way, but it's not a surprise. But the crowd didn't know who he was because at the time it was a very casual crowd who didn't know the indie guys or didn't know the NXT guys because they didn't watch NXT. And the same with Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens made his whole statement and he beat Cena and then he became main roster guy and yada yada. Sami Zayn, his profile didn't improve because of that at the time. He was just this Canadian guy who was brought in and he lost to Cena, and that was it. And then he went back to NXT, and he had the amazing match with Shinsuke Nakamura. It was like, so I think the way they're doing it now is a lot better than how they used to do it back then. As you said, like, just bring them in at the start of the year, and then same time next year they're going to be transferred onto the main roster. It works. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Sorry. So after that all spawned from the Ethan Page interview, by the way. After this, we get an interview with Ava. She comments on what Ethan Page has just done. And she then announces the match between Wesley Lee and Javon Evans. After that, they're talking about like the upcoming schedule. New Year's Eve was going to be in somewhere. I think Louisville. I think they said. And then in comes Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. She's here.
Yes, hometown.
She's doing her hometown, so why wouldn't she be here? She teases that she'll cash in at the Money in the Bank contract at New Year's Eve.
Please don't.
And that's it for now. Toodles.
Please don't.
Have we got a Stratton hater in Mr. Impact, Craig?
Oh, I'd love Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
I don't want her in the NXT title. She's won that. Do you want a Nia Jax? I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
She's going to take it off Nia, surely.
Nia's been doing the mean queen thing.
Yeah.
Enough to make you feel like she's going to go. But I liked the
Right.
the threat of it. Yeah, the idea of, because Charlotte Flair, who did she win the Rumble and then she went after Rhea, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The idea of that happening is kind of exciting, of like, oh, it could go anywhere kind of thing. When Austin Theory cashed in on Seth Rollins, as stupid as it was interesting that he went for the US title. I'm like, okay, we are willing to do other things with this stuff. But yeah, please don't do it. Please don't do it.
Yeah, I think it was just because it was her hometown. She's there. She'll be there for the pop, and then that's about it. And then she'll tease it and then not do it, because why would she, realistically? Also, the women's division is so, what's the word, bulked. It's so
yeah.
They don't need anymore.
Like, they don't need someone like Tiffany there anymore. Like, there's so many other women who can benefit from the exposure. And once what happens at New Year's Evil, the question is, who's next? There's a lot of options.
When Becky came back to NXT, won the title, elevated the women's title a little bit. It needed an injection in the women's division at the time, because there was only a couple of top classes in there, kind of thing. Now I look at it and go, oh fuck me, that's a real row of killers that could all fight in it, and 4 of them were in the match this evening. The next match, kind of thing.
How dare you?
I mean, right now,
yeah,
like currently, kind of thing. But yeah, for Tiffany, they don't need to send someone back. They don't need to send someone who's got a more of a profile than them to go back. I don't think, because it's stacked. It's so good. It's so good. This next match, the lineup for it's just like hell.
Yeah, like just names alone in this, it's so just stacked. So with that in mind, we move on to the main event, Professional Night main event, the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. We had Julia. We had Ren Sinclair. We had Sol Ruka. We had Zarya. That's what Bully Ray. Zarya. And we also had Stephanie Vaquer. So again, same thing as the men's. I'll run through who pinned who and the points, and then move on to the actual review. So Julia pins Ren. Start things off. 1 point to Julia. No one else has any points. Sol comes in and Ren comes out the penalty box, and then Ren's pinned again by Sol. That's 1 point for Sol, 1 for Julia. Then I think at this point everyone's in, and Zarya pins Julia. So Zarya has a point, as well as Sol and Julia. Vaquer pins Ren. So Ren's got a lot of pins here on her. Vaquer's got a point. Everyone does except Ren, basically, at this point. Ren does get a pin over Sol, so everyone's got a point. And then at the very end, Julia pins Zarya to get 2 points and make her the official winner, winning 2-1-1-1-1. I rated it 4.5 stars. I fucking love this match, and it was possibly the best Iron Survivor I've seen out of the 6 that happened. Like, there was action all over the place, and unlike the men's this time round, there wasn't a moment in this where nothing happened.
Yeah,
there were characters who were showcased in anger as they got pinned, displeasure as they lost out on a pinfall. There was moments of domination, moments of weakness, distraction, with only one person coming out on top, and that was the person who made the most opportunities that came her way, and that was Julia. But also something I'll note here as well. Ren Sinclair. She's portrayed as someone who got here by luck. By fluke. Because, you know, it was a fluke how she won.
Yeah.
But she showed in this match right here that she can hang with the higher ups.
Yeah.
And yeah, she got pinned a few times. But she got a pin herself. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She came right back out every single time, straight back in that ring. She didn't hold her back. She wasn't like hard on herself. She straight back in.
Actually told a story.
Yeah.
It really did.
Everyone had a little story that was told here. And my final note of this is just the funny visual of Sol Ruka still in the penalty box as Julia celebrates.
Yeah, they just
She's just stuck in the box. The match is over. Let me out, guys. Come on.
What was that about?
Oh. But yeah, 4.5 stars for me.
For me, Ren Sinclair was the MVP of this match.
Yeah.
She pinned constantly, and it's frustrating me because I get it. If one person in this match is going to eat most of the pins, it's going to be the person who hasn't really challenged for anything. So I get it, but it frustrated me. Ren against Julia in the beginning, when they were just taking it to the match, she held her own.
Yeah.
And did it really well. You know, the submission holds, she did Dempsey's move, the rotations and the arm bars and stuff. So good.
Yeah.
And then for her to get a pin at the end, like I said, she was portrayed as someone who was put in there just through luck. And the only pin she gets is a roll up, so again, it's a fluke essentially.
And also notably, it's against the other NXT roster member, like the one who's been a longer stayer in the roster, as like with the other three who are just like newcomers.
Yeah, it's just okay, but she got a pin. Cool, happy with that. Really wanted to win, but obviously was never going to. There's only one. Again, there's only one winner in this match. There was only going to be one winner in this match, and that kind of ruined it for me a little bit. Not so much where I didn't enjoy the match, because I really did. I liked the interaction between Julia and Stephanie. I thought, again, long-term storytelling, all for it. The double powerbomb to Zarya through the announce table looked brutal, because the way the table imploded, it looked just it made me cringe a bit. Not cringe, what's the word? Flinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all did very, very well, and Julia just continues to adapt really well to this style of the WWE. Although, out of the three who recently debuted, the one I'm seeing the most in is Stephanie Vecchia. I think Julia's excellent, Zara's excellent. Even though, to be fair, that was the first time I've seen Zarya in a match. I haven't watched since Halloween Havoc, so it's the first time I've seen Zarya actually wrestle. But I'm seeing a lot of Stephanie Vecchia. I think she's fantastic. Sol, again, I'm still not sold on Sol. I'm not the biggest fan, because I'm just not that invested in what she's doing. She's fine. She's athletic, and she'll pretend to surf on someone's back. The Soul Snatcher, this Soul Snatcher was done very, very well. And there's other times in other matches where it seems a bit predictable. But when she hit it on Ren, it came out of nowhere. So, but that was one of the favorite Soul Snatchers I've seen for a while. The one she did in TNA was good too. But this match was excellent. Even though, like I said, it was a little bit predictable and Julia probably winning, I did enjoy it, and Ren proved that she deserved to be in this match, even though she got there through an accident. Ethan Page won the title on accident, and that's not mentioned that much.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for Roxanne Julia again, and yeah, can't complain. Apart from Ren being pinned all the
time. Poor Ren.
Yeah, we buzzed off that match pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it about the same.
Yeah.
I love the Iron Survivors. There's always someone who stands out, even though they don't win.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I didn't think Ren was going to win. I had the thought that she was going to have that kind of little journey where she either gets no pins or she just gets one, maybe, and that spurs her on to have confidence to kind of start going for these things a bit more. Seeing her throwing out some of the moves that we've seen Charlie do is really great, because it shows that she is training with them. She is part of that group. She is taking it seriously. And yeah, she could hang. She just kept giving it. Like I say, she kept getting put in the penalty box. She'd come straight back out and give it 100%. And yeah, when she finally did get that pin, everybody lit up. We all knew she wasn't going to win the match, even with that one pin, but we were all like,
yeah.
Everybody was great. Sol Ruka, I personally really enjoy Sol, but I do know where you're coming from. She is at risk of just doing the same things all the time, so she could do with mixing things up a little bit. She's always a great addition to any multi-woman match, I find. She's really great. You can do a lot with her. I, like yourself, Craig, thought it was pretty obvious Julia was going to win, because since before she even turned up, they've been lining Julia up to be the one who fights Roxy and is probably going to take that title. So I genuinely didn't consider anybody else to win it. However, I would have liked Stephanie, because I do have found that I feel like she's actually the stronger. I like Julia, but just like with Trick, but not the same, I've been told that I like Julia. I've been told Julia's great. I've been told Julia is the saviour of NXT's women's division. So, I always struggle with that a little bit. I want to see it myself, because I'm not... The assumption is that everybody knows who Julia is. Everybody knows who Stephanie is. I've heard of her. I've seen her a couple of times. I've actually seen more of Stephanie in independents and things like that than I have of Julia from my own watching. So I don't doubt for a second that she is great, and I can see her being the one to take it. But for my money, I would prefer Stephanie. I am excited to see Julia take the title off Roxanne. I just hope we don't end up in a cycle of Julia, Roxanne, because I'm good with that. Just don't make it a regular,
Yeah, I think we're safe from that.
It's always, I hope so. It's just always when someone new comes in and swoops in, it's always fun and exciting. But you don't want it to be super obvious that this person is coming in and immediately taking. So I like that they didn't do it immediately with her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that, unlike with Ethan, like she's had to kind of put in those reps. So I currently don't have that don't tell me I like Julia kind of vibe yet.
Yeah.
But just chill. Be chill with it.
Yeah.
I like her. I love her already. On time. But the match, fantastic. Again, the women, NXT know how to use their women's roster. They know what they've got there, and they are not afraid to start shows and end shows with them. And I will always have mad respect for NXT, because where the big ones fail, NXT and Ring of Honor manage it.
They pick up the slack.
Oh, like you SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, Collision. Where are your women?
Yeah.
Why you're not presenting them like you are on Ring of Honor, Rampage, and NXT? It's doable.
Absolutely.
That's a channel thing.
Yeah.
And also, I think just one small nitpick as well. Like, it's just, NXT has the best women's division. Can we just, stop with genderizing titles, or at least genderize the men's ones?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you've got
you got the men's.
You've got the men's.
Champion. Yeah, not just the world champion.
This was the conversation that actually came up, not NXT, but Hangman Adam Page always refers to it as the men's AEW title. He always does that, which I love because that basically puts them on
the same level.
That same level. But when they go the NXT title and the women's title, it's like, no, it's the men's.
Yeah.
Or they're both the NXT title.
Yeah. But I can get why you wouldn't do NXT title on both sides, because that can be a little confusing. So you do men's and women's.
Men's. Women's. Yeah. Yeah.
Why not? I completely agree. I want the Iron Survivor matches to be 30 minutes every time I watch one. Because I always forget how, like, when we had the first ones, I was like, I just wasn't vibing off the idea of it. I was like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. Fucking loved it. Yeah. Loved both of them. The year after, same deal. I don't really give a shit this year. Oh my god, amazing matches. And the same again this year. And that women's one, I actually thought, because of my line of thinking, because I was so set on overtaking it from Trick, and much like you were saying before, not having all the titles going in the same night, actually had Zarya winning this one potentially. Mostly because I think out of the three, because the big three that have come have been Julia, Stephanie Becker, and Zarya. They all got big, like, these guys, they're coming.
Yeah.
My opinion, Zarya has been the one that we've seen her in matches, but she's just been put into matches. She might have qualified for it, but I haven't seen anything as far as, like, who is she? Like, she's crazy and she's badass, but who is she? I thought this might have been a decent opportunity to give it to her, of a shock, and then she challenges Roxy, loses, and then Roxy loses at standard deliver to Julia. I always thought Julia would end up taking the title, or Stephanie potentially. I know obviously that's not the way it's going, but
I think it
was great.
Much bigger.
I've also had a feeling that Roxanne will make it to a year as NXT champion. Will be standing deliver. I've just had this feeling since she won a title that she'll get to a year.
Oh, I'm not on that line of thinking. I'm thinking something much bigger than that on the way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them start the new year with some big changes.
New year,
and this is where this is where we're going. Even the prospect of having 3 title changes, because it's like, no, there's no way they'll do that. There's no way they'll do that. Maybe they will, because they will occasionally pull a fast one on us. So who knows there? But yeah, I'd like to actually rewatch that match when we're done here, both of them, because it's really, really fucking good.
I'm down for that.
It wasn't until the DP said it as well. It's like, it was constant urgency. It was non-stop. And in the men's one, there were moments. There's no breathing space in this one. You are along for the ride and you're going. So more of that, and just fuck yeah. Great show.
Good show.
Very good show. I had a prediction on this that was regarded as very controversial at the time, and it still is, honestly. I felt with this main eventing, being the first Iron Survivor main event in the history of Deadline, I thought that we were going to get a tie between Junior and Stephanie.
It's going that way. It certainly felt like it was heading that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when Julia had that last pin towards the end, and then that last second roll up pin from Stephanie, I thought, oh my god, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, overtime or then next week or triple threat with Roxanne or whatever. I think we're on the road to something much bigger than Julia and Roxanne, or Roxanne and Stephanie, whatever. I think we're on the road to Julia and Stephanie. That's Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
Because the story is there already, and they've already been there for a month, 2 months, whatever it is. Like Stephanie, every step of the way has been overshadowed by Julia. Like Julia is the big shining crown jewel of the women's division. She's a savior, you know. She can save us from Roxanne, and she will probably at New Year's Evil. However, Stephanie was also brought in at the same time, if not just slightly a bit afterwards, and because of that timing, she's been overshadowed. She's not been swept under the carpet, but she's not as high as Julia when they should be sort of on equal footing.
Yeah.
And they've been teaming together, and people are like, "Oh, Julia and Stephanie," not Stephanie and Julia. Julia's the first name because she's the main attraction. The story's there that Stephanie can feel underappreciated because of Julia. The fans don't appreciate Stephanie as much as Julia. Like, and that could be a hill run or just whatever run. But like, that's and then that is your story going forward and Stand and Deliver for Julia and Stephanie.
Yeah,
and that's why I think they're going with it, and I'm excited as fuck for that.
Fair.
Roxy's had an amazing run with the title, an amazing run in NXT.
Main roster time.
Main roster time. There's a ceiling, and she needs to break through it.
I think she's been due it for a few years now, Roxanne. Personally.
She worked so hard, but this is the thing though. She has added stuff. Even though she was ready, she's still been adding stuff. So she's still ready to keep. Which is why she's gonna, in my opinion, and
she's gonna be a top star.
She should be a top star. 100%. Will happen naturally.
She keeps constantly developing.
Yeah,
it's all we've ever seen. Every single time we see her, she's improved and improved and improved and improved, and it's not like she was bad.
No, exactly.
She came in as a prodigy, continues to be the prodigy, and I think that the main roster will really benefit her. She'll get to learn a lot, and I think that she could be, like your next Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
changes the game a little bit. I think she's gonna be another horsewoman.
Yeah, she is the epitome of size does not matter. Like legitimately, she's like what 5'4" or something. Like she's quite a tiny woman compared to the rest of them, and she is arguably one of the best ones that are there. One of the best wrestlers in general on that roster, no matter not just NXT. Like, main roster as well. Like, she's one of the best that are there. And when she goes up there, she's going to show up a lot of people. And she's going to prove a lot of doubters wrong. NXT is not just this little developmental brand. NXT is developmental brand, but you know what I mean? Like, it's more than that. It is developing the next level of stars.
Yeah.
And it cultivates
the future.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, she's on fire.
It'll be sad to see her go, but it'll be great seeing our main roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, that does bring an end to this and to this episode of Show Squared. I once again thank my guests. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Nikki and Mike. There we go, like that. Where can the people find you on social media? Craig, we'll start with you.
Again, difficult question to answer because Twitter's a shit show. I'm off that.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, I guess. If you're on TikTok, drop me a follow. Same handle everywhere. Yeah, pretty much covers it. It's important to take social media breaks, and I'm still on one because beyond that, just the deal: like, share, support wrestling.
Absolutely. And Nikki and Mike, where can the guys find you?
You can find us on the Hell site, that is Twitter, formerly Twitter, X, and you can find us on the safe haven that is Blue Sky, and TikTok, and Instagram, and it's Penciled In Nikki. Me.
And for me, you will find me lurking behind Nikki's shoulder while she uses social media, and I have names that I don't use and accounts that I can't remember.
He's Penciled In Mike.
Oh no, yeah, on Twitter, I'm Mike Penciled In, and on Blue Sky, I'm penciledin.mike. And on Instagram, Mikey Loves Lexus.
Lexus King Forever.
Lexus King Forever. IDST. I'm on Blue. I occasionally use Blue Sky.
Yeah. And also on Blue Sky, I have put together not one but two now BritRes starter packs, because the first pack, all 150 spots were taken because it's getting busier and busier. So now BritRes 2 Electric Boogaloo is now up. So if you do join Blue Sky and you're like, there's wrestlers, promotions, other fans, ring announcers, everyone are on those starter packs, and I'm constantly adding to them, so you have a ready-made follow list, and everybody always immediately follows back. So it's a nice little thing. So you won't be alone for long. And yeah, that's where you can find us. Oh, and Discord.
Of course,
you can find the invites that in all of my bios. So,
yes. And everything will be on the description of the video below as well as what you see on screen, which I will update because that is just the X stuff at the moment. So I will update that because that's kind of haram now. And as for the show as well, all the medias are on the bottom of the screen: Instagram, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Twitch is dead. It's not coming back. Probably. I don't know. Maybe it is. Who knows? I don't know anymore.
I'll bring it back.
It's just, I don't know. It's just, you've got to find time, you know? So, like, CPR, I don't need that. I need that.
We're just going to zap it.
I need, like, 20 black shots, just hitting the chest.
Adrenaline shot like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Probably not. It's just finding the time to do it. But as well, if you feel so inclined, I am also on the medias, well, X, as DpuizY. I mean, that's probably it, honestly. Like, my account's personal, I don't like sharing them out. And yeah, other than the video itself, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you liked, tell us what you didn't like. You know, is it fun to have the whole gang back together again? Let me know. Because it's always fun to have these guys around. Is there anything...
No. It's been nice to have us all together. Yeah. It's like the Avengers, look.
Bit of it.
Yeah.
Kong.
Dibs on Captain America. But yeah, I'm not sure what I was saying now. Yes, subscribe. Yes, it's all free, and it all helps the channel and helps everyone, and as well as everyone else in the description below. Please go follow them on their social medias and their other outlets. And as always, that's been the end of the show, and that is the end of this podcast. I have been Dan, DpuizY. I've been joined by Mr. Pat Craig. Craig is something.
Oh, bye.
I've been joined as well by the Pencil In crew.
Microphone.
Robert Femi's aura.
And I've been Dan, and this is goodbye. Goodbye.